We're back.
Who's
What
back?
is going on, hockey fans? It is, for the first time in a while, your boy Kyle Manifold. I'm Neil Villapiano, the host of the Devil State of Mind podcast here on the Hockey Podcast Network, which covers the New Jersey Devils. And welcome to another exciting live watch-along playoff edition here on the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. Tonight is Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals as the Vegas Golden Knights are one win away from moving on to the Stanley Cup Finals. But the Dallas Stars may have something to say about that. Now down 3-0 in this series. And Kyle, first and foremost, it is great to see you, my friend. How are you doing today?
Likewise, it's good to see you too. I've had a crazy couple days, couple weeks or whatever, but it's this a little bit of normalcy now coming back and doing this. So I'm happy that we're back, and I hope we're in for a good game tonight, considering what happened the last game.
The Devils are not playing in it, so maybe the chances of it being a blowout maybe are less. So
okay.
that might be a positive.
You never know. I mean, they weren't all okay. No, that's not true. They were all mainly about more than 50% of them were blowouts.
Right. There you go. That's the way you look at it. But I mean, it's the first time in a while that myself and Kyle have done a live watch along. I took a little bit of a break after the Devils were knocked out in round 2 to the Hurricanes. And now the Hurricanes are out of the playoffs as well, so they can join us in our misery. But we are here tonight to see if the Vegas Golden Knights complete the 4-game sweep and meet the Florida Panthers in the 2023 Stanley Cup Finals, which would be a very interesting matchup. And, depending on how the result goes tonight, we'll talk about that more in detail. But, Kyle, the biggest thing going into tonight's game is the fact that Jamie Benn is out for this game and also game number 5 if they do make it to game 5 after that illegal cross-check to the back of the neck on Mark Stone. Your thoughts on whatever Jamie Benn did there? I
mean, so much for being a captain for your team, right? I thought his excuse was piss poor. I thought he ran away from the situation that night of, because I think he talked to the media the day after. I just thought it was really unfortunate, right? Just to kind of see that's the type of the response that you're going to get from a guy like Jamie Benn. They're showing it here and it's oh yeah, he's landing on the person when he's just a full-on driving force into him. And Mark Stone knows it too, right? So I thought at the time it was the right call. I thought that, I'm not surprised that he got kicked out. And, I think it's for me, it's more disappointing to see that in Jamie Benn because, there's a couple of things. You're the captain of this team. You basically just ended that game. That game was over, right? They were already up 1-0. You gave them a 5-minute power play. They got 2 goals on it. The second goal came right at the end of that power play. So you screwed your team, right? And the rest of the game, we saw, the Stars fans were, a little disappointing as well. Just all around, it was a huge disappointment. So, to not see him in the media room after and not owning up to what he did, right? Because we're not stupid. We know what happened, right? So I think just to not see that from him was just really sad to see. And now it really confirms the type of person and type of player that Jamie Benn is. And I think it should come into question whether or not he should be a captain next season.
Yeah, obviously what he did was inexcusable. And I mean, I'll be the first one to say this, and this is coming from a guy who's a fan of a team that proceeded to throw food and stuff on the ice against the Leafs back in November.
Wait,
yeah, you can look it up. I don't have to. I don't feel like I have to explain it, nor do I want to explain it because it's not one of our finest hours. But to throw stuff on the ice like that, the way Dallas did, not a good look. It's just an overall not a good look at all that night for the Dallas Stars organization. And it'll be really interesting to see how the Stars bounce back from that type of game. I'm curious to know if Jake Oettinger is in there. I believe he is starting. So they're going to go back to Jake, or as they call him, Otter, for game number 4. Scott Wedgwood played. I mean, it kind of works. It kind of works, his nickname. I mean, it works a little bit with his name. So we'll give him that. But the biggest thing for Vegas just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, there's nothing that I look at and I say they need to get better at. I mean, Aiden Hill, what a story, right? He got hurt. And I think,
amazing story.
if I'm not mistaken, I think we were in the middle of doing a live watch along of one of the games that the Devils were in, and it overlapped the game that the Vegas that Laurent Brossoit got hurt.
Right.
Remember, he got hurt. Aiden Hill came in the second round against Edmonton, and the rest has been history because Aiden Hill has been a rock between the pipes for Vegas since then, coming off a 32-save shutout in game number 3. So, yeah, Vegas is going in with a lot of confidence and a chance to complete a 4-game sweep and have themselves over a week to get ready for the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final. But we'll see if they can get it done one more time because the 4th game is always the hardest one to win.
Well, we saw it from Florida last night. But just quickly on that Aiden Hill point, if all of Vegas's goalies were healthy, he would be the 5th option because you had Logan Thompson. I would imagine Robin Lehner maybe would have been the starter, or they would have flip-flopped back and forth with Logan Thompson. So you got those two guys. You have Brossoit, who came in probably maybe a 4th. I don't know if Jonathan Quick is injured, correct?
I thought he was the 3rd goaltender. No, I'm pretty sure he's the 3rd goaltender. I don't know.
Anyway, it would have been in whatever order, but it would have been Lehner, Thompson, Brossoit, Quick, and then Aiden Hill. So the fact that it's
crazy.
It's crazy that he's doing so good. I'd like to say the 4th one is the toughest, but I think a lot of people might be rolling with Vegas tonight just because, I know Dallas isn't going to go down without a fight, but to see what happened in Game 3 was just really disappointing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And Zanino saying the last time we had both semifinals in the Stanley Cup playoffs become sweeps was back in 1992. Also, I really don't want to talk about this, but on this day in 1994, Mark Messier guaranteed that the Rangers would win Game 6 against the Devils in the 1994 Eastern Conference Finals, proceeded to get a hat trick in that game, and helped the Rangers propel to eventually win in 7 games in overtime, thanks to Stefan Meto's overtime goal to send the Rangers to the Cup final where they would eventually beat the Vancouver Canucks. Sorry, Dylan. 7 games in the 94 Stanley Cup Finals. There's a little fun fact. I don't want to talk about it anymore. That didn't happen. Aiden Hill is from Vancouver Island. So Dylan is a very proud Vancouver Island boy tonight. Wow. There's no question about it. Jacob says our goalies go from Thompson, Robin Lehner, Quick, Laurent Brossoit, and then Hillbilly.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Whatever the order would have been. Yes. That's what I mean,
sorry. Right? No, Dennis, I'm sorry. It came up. They're showing Mark Messier's old ass on the TV right now. It just popped up.
Yeah.
I don't know. By the way, if Mark Messier becomes the head coach of the Rangers, I'm going to laugh my ass off. I just want everyone to know that.
So funny. Well, now they're talking about Gerald Gallant being the head coach of Calgary, and I'm like, cool. Great.
There you go.
I've had a really bad 24 hours. You know, people are like to see Kachuk score that. I'm like, it's been a bad year.
It would have been interesting if we were doing last night's Game 4. I think that'd have been something.
I probably would have left right away. I would have left. I would have been like, I'm not staying on here.
That was crazy too, because you know what's funny about it, really quick, is we do have about 5.5 minutes before puck drop.
Yep.
I was thinking to myself, you know what? Carolina gets knocked out of the playoffs the exact same way that the Devils got knocked out by Carolina. Someone takes a stupid penalty, power play goal right at the end. Well, great, the Hurricanes won in overtime, but still, I was like, that was great. And I could honestly make a semi-argument that there might have been goalie interference there, but I looked at it like, I just don't think the refs had the balls to call it. I just think that was what was going on.
I think it would have been a very soft call. I don't think it would have been goaltender interference. I don't think so. But honestly, I'm as sad as it was to see him score at the end, I'm like, imagine drafting
Jesus. Jesus. Couldn't be my team.
It couldn't be me. It couldn't be me.
I mean, to be fair, the Devils offered a pretty big package to Calgary in the offseason for Matthew Tkachuk, and the Flames said no. I have no idea. That's the thing. We don't know what was offered. I'm going to guess, if I'm being honest, the second overall pick in last year's entry draft, which became Simone Nemeth, probably was the main part of it.
Right.
I'm going to guess Jesper Bratt was probably part of it.
Right.
I don't know. So, I mean, I was saying like what could have been. I posted it last night. What would have happened if Matt Tkachuk was on the Devils, but that's neither here nor there. Right. I think it worked out for everybody.
Right. But not everybody.
Not everybody. Certainly not for the Hurricanes, who, by the way, Kyle,
oh my God.
0-12 in their last 12 Eastern Conference finals. They have lost 3 Eastern Conference Finals without winning a game. They've gotten swept the last 3 times they've been in it.
That's insane. Because it was okay. So Panthers, obviously.
Yeah, the Penguins in 2009.
Penguins in 2009.
And then
who's the other one? Rangers?
I'm blanking on the other one. I'm actually blanking. Somebody got to look that up because I don't know.
Please look it up. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think. Oh wait, what was it? Know. No, I'm blanking. I'm really blanking.
That's okay. We're not brainiacs. We're not supposed to.
Oh, wait. No, Jacob said it was Boston. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, right. Duh, that just happened.
Bruins swept the Hurricanes in 2019. Thank you. Yeah, that was the year that the Bruins went to the final and lost in 7 to St. Louis. Got it.
Big brain moves here. Just seeing I really love the aesthetic of the Stars arena. Like everything's just so green, and the way they kind of set it up, and that, mind you, it doesn't beat the intro for the Vegas introduction.
Right. Vegas is really good. Yep.
It's so cool. I can't wait, assuming that Vegas wins this series now. I can't wait for that introduction for the final, because they'll be in Vegas, right? Because whoever wins this,
I think. Oh yeah. No, whatever it is. I mean, the Panthers are going to be the road team.
They're going to be the road team anyway. Yeah. So, they don't care.
Where did Adin Hill come from? Guy was trash. Now he's unbeatable. That's how the Stanley Cup playoffs work sometimes. It's the guy you least expect ends up becoming, the guy that leads you to the promised land. Like even Sergei Bobrovsky, nobody expected Bobrovsky to be as dominant as he's been. This is what he's paid to do, but the fact that he's finally doing it after several years of capitulating, I think is just it's again something you didn't expect.
Yeah,
so that's what's going on with Adin Hill right now for Vegas.
Yeah, and because he went Coyotes, Sharks, and then Golden Knights, right?
Yeah, that's exactly where. That's exactly.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Danelle, at the end of the day, with regards to the Devils losing to the Hurricanes, who ended up getting swept, it is what it is. There's nothing that we could do. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think the Devils would have lasted much longer. I mean, granted, getting swept is about the shortest you can be in a series, but this Panthers team is not a fluke. They are this good, and we'll talk about them more as the game goes on here.
Yeah.
We have a lot to talk about. But before we get underway here, I think it's time for our predictions, because we have 3 people in the chat. Hefty Duck is going 5-3 Vegas. Bullets on Fire is going 3-1 Vegas, and of course Jacob, our main Golden Knights fan, he's going with a 3-0 win. Kyle, myself, I'm going to go with 4-1 Vegas. I think that they got this one pretty much in the bag. I have a tough time seeing Dallas fight back, but I could be wrong. But I'm going to go with Vegas to win tonight, 4-1.
I don't think you're wrong. I think a lot of people are kind of jumping on that train, because I imagine there's a lot of Stars fans who feel the same way. So I'll go 5-2. I think there's going to be maybe 1 or 2 empty netters that kind of go along with it.
All right, so we will see. So again, Adin Hill in net for the Vegas Golden Knights, coming off a 32-save shutout in game number 3, 6-1, a 1.96 goals against average, 8.940 save percentage. He is on a 5-game winning streak, so look to make it 6
there you go.
Here tonight. Dylan's going with 3-2 start. Please not double overtime.
I hate you.
I hate you. Dylan, if you're right, I hate you.
I hate you more, Liam.
Jake. Oh, geez. Jake Ottinger, 8-8, 3.02 goals against average, and a .895 save percentage in net for the Dallas Stars. He has a 4.63 goals against average. This series was pulled back game number 3. So they're expecting, hopefully, a bounce back game from him and the rest of the Dallas Stars team. So let's see. Do the Golden Knights complete the sweep and move on to the Cup final, or does Dallas keep this series alive? We'll find out right now as we are underway in the Lone Star State here in Game 4 between the Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars.
Well, I think I'm ahead of you tonight.
I'm on a cable, so I don't know how the heck that's possible, but okay.
Cool. Okay. They had just dropped a puck in the offensive zone.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know where you're at.
All right.
Well,
they're about to do the face-off here. Okay, maybe. Well, you're watching. Maybe the Canadian broadcast is ahead.
For once, finally.
Face-off won by Vegas. Shot there from the right side, and that one gets blocked in front. Kyle, my question to you is, what are you looking for in the first couple of minutes between for both of these teams here as we get underway?
For Vegas, it's just they've been continuously putting pressure on Dallas. We saw it early on. You're going to see it again here. I think for Dallas, man, it's just you got to fire whatever you can now at Adin Hill. Oh, and they almost did.
Right. Now these stars come up. No, you're fine, Kyle. As now they come up, drops over to the right side. Now here comes Sagan with a shot, and that one is blockered aside by Adin Hill. Current money line -100 is a shot there from, I believe that was Sutter. Yeah. Just goes over the glove of Adin Hill, but luckily doesn't go on net. That was a really good shot from Sutter right there.
That's the part I was like, oh.
Yeah, so I think you're several seconds ahead. This is strange. This is very strange.
What's good?
Kyle, do you want to take over for the play-by-play tonight, and I'll just back you up tonight?
No, I don't want to.
No, not tonight. Not Jason Robertson. 4 goals, 1 at 5-on-5 in these playoffs. He's coming off 46 in the regular season. Definitely a guy that I'm sure Dallas wants to get going much more here in these playoffs, especially now in a do-or-die situation. What's going on, Andy?
Hello. What's going on? I can pause it though with my fancy remote.
Oh, you can pause it. Ooh, good for you.
I can pause it. So I will make sure. I'll make sure to do it at a whistle, and we'll synchronize. We'll synchronize, Neil.
Fair enough. All right, there we go. So now we got it going on here. There's a good hit there from I believe that's McNabb. Is a backhand pass there is intercepted by Dallas for a moment, taken away by Ivan Barbashev. Barbashev being pinned on the boards, and now it's taken away by Dallas coming up the right side. Dallas player flips it in now into the right side. Jamie Benn again, 2-game suspension for a cross check. See, the other thing is that I'm still like in my brain, I'm like, how does Michael Bunting get a 3-game suspension for what he did back in the first round? But Jamie Benn only gets 2 for something more egregious.
Ben, if I honestly think it should have been longer and it should have carried over.
I agree.
I think that should have been like a 25-game suspension. Why not?
They should have continued. Yeah, why not? What the hell?
Why not? It really
because he intended to do that. That wasn't like. Here's the thing. I always I like using the Bunting situation as a good example when other guys get suspended. There's a drive from Pietrangelo gets blocked, and now another opportunity. That shot there is fought up by Oettinger. Feed in front there gets blocked. Scramble in front gets it top of the point to Pietrangelo. Pietrangelo over to the left side now to Martinez. Martinez now in the left corner. Backhands it over to his teammate. 55 with the puck now. If I don't get players' names up the top of my up front, I do apologize. It's now Dallas intercepts, and they will flip it back into the Vegas zone. But yeah, Michael Bunting. Here's the thing. I don't think Bunting meant to deliberately elbow the crap out of whoever he did. I mean, he wanted to make a hit, but I don't think he tried to go with his elbow. And the 3-game suspension I thought was overkill for that. With Jamie Benn, there was no overkill. That was legit. You watch the video. He had plenty of time to not do anything, and he chose to cross-check Stone in the back of the head.
Do you remember the number of suspensions that Rafi Torres had?
Well, in general, yeah, he had many.
Yeah. Maybe the specific one I should mention is the one he did on, I think he was on Arizona, and it was against Chicago in the playoffs. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at that, and they got him really good for that one, I think. And there was another one too. I can't remember where they got him good for it. I would argue that this should be around those type of suspensions. You're trying to take his head off. You could paralyze him, man.
I know it was not good.
From where he went right down on his neck. Yeah. Right? So I'm shocked that that's they could have paralyzed the guy. So
Just because Mark Stone has been dealing with a lot of different injuries, especially with his back, and he's dealt with head injuries as well. Like he's gone through the ringer, and then he goes through that, and luckily he didn't get hurt.
You might want to watch this.
All right, so now Vegas comes up. Roy drops it over. Riley Smith with a shot, and he scores! Riley Smith, a little sneaker through traffic, beats Ottinger, and the Golden Knights strike first. It's 1-0.
I'm shocked that you had two guys there who couldn't really get I don't know what they were doing defensively there.
Actually, are they giving it to Will? I think they might be giving it to Carlson now that I think about it.
Yeah, they're all going to him because I think he got the puck at the very end.
Well, he's the first one to celebrate on the bench. So let me see again as they came into the zone. Riley Smith took a shot. Oh, it was deflected by Carlson. Yeah. You see it again on the replay. That's why it got through. Because on the original play, it looks like it squeaked through Ottinger, but it was just a nice deflection from the kid they call Wild Bill, I think is his nickname. I don't know why I know these players' nicknames. Wild Bill, nonetheless. William Karlsson gets the goal. His 8th of the playoffs. He leads the team. And 4.5 minutes in, it's 1-0 Golden Knights. So, Kyle, Vegas definitely off to the type of start that you need, especially in a hopeful series clinching game. Is now Golden Knights come back in. Marceau feeds it, and that one just goes wide of Jack Eichel.
So Vegas is 4-0 in the playoffs when scoring first. Dallas is 0-5 when the opposing team scores first. So yeah, you can do with that whatever you'd like. It's now Jonathan Marchessault slowly will dump it into the Dallas zone. Yeah, again, 38-5-3 in the regular season. Vegas was with scoring first, which makes sense. Yeah. On the goal, I swear, it was funny because it looked like it was going 5-hole, but I didn't realize that Karlsson kind of was just sitting there.
Yeah, Karlsson was able to get his stick on that. Good positioning by William Karlsson there on that goal. As now here comes Pavelski, drops it over to Robertson, but that's taken away by McNabb. Here come the Golden Knights slowly the other way. Drops it off, might have a chance. Carrier with a shot, and that one is fought off by Ottinger. What a big-time save from Ottinger there on William Carrier's opportunity. Carrier wraps around the boards, top of the point to Martinez. Now to Pietrangelo. Slap shot, and that one gets blocked in front. Dallas still going to clear it. They cannot. As now Stevenson will get it into the left corner here as some good pressure from Vegas. But right now, Kyle, it is all Golden Knights in this one.
Bro, it's like shots are 4-0. It was piss poor efforts on Dallas's part just for not doing anything.
Jake Frodinger. Well done.
Very good. Very good.
I like Dylan. Yeah. Boom. Roasted. But I think I was going to say really quickly here, I think Danelle asked me a question about, the Stadium Series next year, Devils, Flyers, and then Islanders, Rangers. Both games will be at MetLife sometime in February of 2024. You already know that I'm going to be there. I just hope everyone understands that.
I was going to ask you, but I assumed.
I will be there. There's no question about it. And if I somehow am not, which I would be absolutely heartbroken beyond repair, I will probably be on here doing a live watch-along of it because that's what I am. It's a shot there from the Star stuff. Rebound try and a great save by Aiden Hill on the shot from Heiskanen.
Wow. When would the tickets go on sale for that?
Probably not for another 2 or 3 months because we don't even have the schedule out for next season in terms of the regular season in general.
True.
Again, Dave Pagnotta of the fourth period was the one that he was the one that reported it yesterday or 2 days ago. And that's pretty much where we're at with that. And so we have to wait for the NHL to make an announcement. My guess is that Gary Bettman will make an announcement about it during the draft.
Oh, okay.
That's a guess. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But that was a good save moments ago there, Kyle, from Aiden Hill on that rebound chance because it looked like Heiskanen actually had some room on that top right side, but Hill got over.
Also, I'm trying to pause it. It's not working.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And about 7.5 minutes into this first period, William Karlsson with the first goal, 1-0 Vegas.
It's a tough start because it's you give him that sort of energy right away, and it's I'm not seeing a lot from Dallas right now, right? And they keep saying Hill. I don't think Hill has to do. I don't think he has to be the hero tonight to get the job done.
No.
Right?
No. Have to. I mean, even if he gives up a goal, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Right. It's whatever.
How can you do a better performance in this game comparatively to what you did in Game 3, which is you got a shutout? get another shutout.
But again, I think like even throughout the game, you kind of saw like I don't know if you saw the whole game or not, but like they weren't really threatening him that whole game because I think they were still kind of like even that whole first period was a wash because they were shell shocked from what happened. Like Ben was probably the sole reason why Dallas is going to lose this series.
I think him doing that really just kind of put the nail in the coffin. Honestly, I think
it did.
I'm just not seeing a lot of energy from Dallas in this series. I'm just not. I don't know what's coming from.
It was still a series from even game 1 and game 2. Like Dallas was leading, right?
Right.
And you had Vegas who ties it up. Blah blah blah. They went to overtime twice, so it's not like the series was out of reach. But like in doing that, you just put your team down 3-0 in this series, and could evidently lose this because now you're down 1-0 all of a sudden.
Right.
So that's the way I see it.
And you could kind of, and they're actually showing the Dallas Stars bench. I could kind of see there isn't a whole lot of energy right now. I think it's like, they gave up the first goal and it's like, okay, all right, here we go again. Like, that's kind of where it is because, if you look back and granted that was it was 2020 and we were playing the bubble. But you look at that team that Dallas had, right? Like, they were just relentless in how, like, their physicality and, guys like Rupe Hintz and, again, Jamie Benn and Sagan and all those guys, like, they really just, like, were workman-like guys that just made the right plays. You look at this series, and granted, it's a couple years difference and all that. There's a shot there from Dallas Block. Another try there from Domi is fought off by Hill. But at the end of the day, it's just, I don't get it. I expected more of a fight than we've seen so far from Dallas.
So, like, it's silly because, like, you look back at the offseason that they had, and they had a good offseason by getting, like, Mason Marchman and the guys necessary to, to have this type of run, right? Because as long as they got in, they didn't care, right? Because they knew the type of team that they had. And, like, I'd like to say, like, it wasn't easy for them, right? They were struggling against a good Kraken team that forced them to 7 games. The Wild, I mean, they were kind of a hit and miss a little bit. But, they ran into a Vegas team that was on a high because they beat out the Oilers in which, like, I think a lot of our brackets had the Oilers in the final, probably winning it, right? So they're running on a high, like, and that's like, to me, that's why I'm not surprised that like this is the way that it's kind of gone. But again, it kind of just goes into like what happened with the game 3, and that's the game that we're all going. Looking back on this series, that's probably one of the reasons why that they lost or going to lose because that's the way it's going to go. Like.
There's now a backhand try there by William Karlsson was fought off by Ottinger. Another try there, drive, and that one is fought off as well from Ottinger. So 2 good shots there from Vegas, and now Dallas gets it out of the zone. But Dallas starting to get a little bit going. They've had a couple of decent shots on Hill, but, the one thing that Hill definitely does a pretty good job of is not allow a lot of rebounds. There's a shot there from Dallas. It's stopped and somehow covered by Ottinger. He kind of had to lift his left arm up there. That puck came off the boards. I don't know who took the shot, but it's a good shot nonetheless. And you kind of look at it from Vegas' perspective, Kyle. They're just kind of shooting from wherever, honestly.
Yeah, and Ottinger's letting up a lot of these juicy rebounds here. But again, too, like, I don't know if you like for what's his name, Max Domi, right? They were just showing him on the highlights here. He's been a really good pickup for Dallas. I've noticed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he's been bouncing around a lot too, right?
Oh yeah. At one point, and I don't know how true it is now, but at one point he was the team's best goal scorer in these playoffs. Yeah. Like that's kind of where it is. So I mean, like that's how valuable he's been in these playoffs. I do wonder if Dallas is going to make a push to try to bring him back next season.
I would imagine so. I think it worked. I think the experiment worked out well, and I think they're going to give it a shot again next season. I don't see why you wouldn't. And something I'm thinking about too, because you briefly mentioned it.
Because, that shot there off a blocked shot, that hit off a Vegas player and redirected right to Hill, but Hill makes the save.
I think it's crazy. Like, all the teams in the playoffs, maybe minus Edmonton a little bit, top goal scorers have been very quiet, right? Like, Carolina's was dead in that series against Florida. Dallas has been pretty quiet, especially you mentioned Max Domi being your top goal scorer. The Leafs, like, top 4 was really quiet throughout the Florida series. You could make an argument that the Devils forwards were quiet, at least in the Rangers series.
You could definitely make an argument with that.
Right.
You could definitely.
Right. So, like, I think there's a lot of teams that you're finding that a lot of the guys who should be scoring are not doing that, and the guys who have been stepping up, like the Kachucks, the Barkovs, the Marchessaults, the Eichels, right? Like, those are the guys that you're finding to start stepping up and making a contribution into these deep playoff runs.
Right, exactly. And like at the end of the day, you need every single one of your players to get going at some point in the playoffs. Because if you're not, eventually it's going to come back to bite you. And, give credit to Carolina in round 2 against the Devils. A lot of guys stepped up. It wasn't even like Sebastian Aho didn't do much of anything in that series, but it was other guys. It was like Jordan Martinook had over 10 points in that series. Jesper Foss, Martin Necas, guys stepped up. Fast forward to round 3 against the Panthers. Nothing from any of them. They all went dry. Maybe they used up all of their goal scoring in the second round. I don't know. But with Florida, I think what you saw is what Paul Maurice said when he was introduced in the summer as the head coach of this team, is that he didn't want to take away the talent that the team had. He just wanted this team to play smarter and not take as many chances and not throw so many careless passes. And that's the success that they've had. Everybody understanding their role and trusting the process of, it's not always about the result. It's more about the process and the journey of getting there. And they're being rewarded now in results by getting to the Cup final. And then you look at Vegas. I mean, the thing about Vegas that we have to remember is that, despite having a new coach, despite having a couple of new guys, they have pretty much a lot of the same team they've had for several years. So there's a lot of chemistry there. And now you're finally starting to see this team, come together collectively. And in many ways, I mean, this is a much better Vegas team overall than we saw back in 2018 when they went to the Cup final in their inaugural season. Yeah. And, they've gone through a lot of lessons too, a lot of playoff heartbreak, missing the playoffs and things like that. For Dallas, they've been in this situation before, but there is a lack of leadership there. And it starts with Jamie Benn, who not only screwed himself and the team in game 3, he's gotten 1 point in the last 7 or 8 games he's played in. Tyler Seguin's gone nowhere. Joe Pavelski had a phenomenal second round against Seattle, and he's done nothing in this round. Jason Robertson, I mean, granted, Robertson a little bit more than everybody else, but where's the goal scoring coming from? And it's getting dried up a lot in this series against Vegas.
Jamie Benn's starting to turn into one of those Ryan Reeves, Paul Bissonnette type fourth liners, right? Where his goal scoring, I don't know what it's been like throughout the season stats wise, but it just hasn't been there. And then he does this shit the other night, and it just it kills you. So you mentioned Joe Pavelski, and mind you, I think he's had a very good playoffs because he scored 4 goals in 1 game. In my eyes, Joe Pavelski should be the captain of this team. Now, Stars fans can dispute me because I don't know about this team. I don't know the mechanics behind whatever the process, like you mentioned, right? But I just think Joe Pavelski should really be the captain of this team.
I mean, in many ways, he's become the heartbeat of this team, and this is why he was so beloved when he was in San Jose for as long as he was, and he was the captain. Now Heiskanen waits, shot, and that one is fought off by Hill and goes up and out of play. Good shot from Miro Heiskanen there, but a better save from Adin Hill, who has stopped all 6 shots he has faced so far in this one. But yeah, Joe Pavelski, he's Captain Clutch. He's Captain America for a reason. This guy, even when he's not scoring, he's still making other plays to help his team. He's a great vocal leader, and the guys rally around a guy like that. And I don't mean to rub salt in the wound for any Vegas fan, but look back to the 2019 first round series against the Sharks, right? Vegas was up 3-1. It looked like it was over. And then the Sharks came all the way back. Game 7, they're up 3-0 in the third period. Again, looks like it's over. Joe Pavelski gets cross-checked in the face by Cody Eakins. And then all of a sudden, all of a sudden the Sharks look at that and say, that's our captain lying on the floor. We got to do something about it. And instead of fighting or trying to do something like that, they went out and scored 4 unanswered goals like it was nobody's business and ultimately won the game in overtime and won the series.
Well, a 5-minute power play helps too, right?
A 5-minute power play does help. There's no question about that.
Yeah, because I think that's why they rallied around it, and like, you know, you're able to capitalize on those goals there, right? So that's what I mean, right? Like that they understand the importance of Joel Pavelski on that team, and they were able to rally around him, right? Yeah. So they should be doing the same here, and not for a stupid guy like Jamie Benn. Like you're telling me, like, if I'm a player on that team, why would I defend Jamie Benn after that? Why having the conversation where if you're his teammate, why should I be defending your actions? Right? Let's be like, why are they not being more honest and taking more responsibility? Right? Oh, Jesus.
Right. Yeah, no, I figured Jacob didn't want to hear me say that, but I was just, you know, I'm just making an example, Jacob. It's just, look, you know, and again, but this is getting back to my point about like Vegas, like they've gone through a lot of playoff heartache. And so like now, like they're a much more experienced team, you know, they're much more understanding of like what it takes to get this stuff done. And granted, like they still got to win this game and obviously get to the finals and win more than one game in the finals. But, you know, I'm saying like this is a more experienced, disciplined team. And look at the way Vegas rallies around Mark Stone, right? Look at the way that they rally around him. And like they, you know, he goes down and Vegas does the great thing. They don't retaliate physically. They don't try to do any. They decide, you know what? We're just going to keep beating them on the scoreboard. And that's exactly what they did. And that's one of the reasons why they've had so much success in this series.
And one, like you mentioned too, like beating them on the scoreboard, you see in, what was that, the game last night when I was watching it, the Hurricanes were taking so many stupid penalties. Mind you, the Panthers did like once or twice, but there's been so many times, and we were talking about it too, like during the Devils series, how many times were we saying that's a stupid penalty? It's a stupid penalty. It's a stupid penalty. If I'm a goddamn coach, drill it into these guys' fucking heads that if you take a stupid penalty, I'm going to beat you with a steel-toe boot up your ass. Like, that's what it should be, right?
Mm-hmm. And right now, I think when you look at Dallas, is now they have the puck in the zone. I mean, they're not really creating a whole lot of high danger chances. And maybe it's more because Vegas's defensive system is working really well. It's tough to say. But like right now, despite Dallas having like 7-8 shots, none of them are like tremendous. Is that feed in front there? And that's a great save by Jake Ottinger on that shot. I believe that was Mark Stone who had that puck. Great feed in front. He was open, but just a better save. Golden Knights nearly doubled the lead there.
And they should have there. Oh, my God.
They really should.
As much as Ottinger should be on his game tonight, I expect these Stars players to throw everything at Hill, man. Everything. And it was a bad giveaway, too. Like, this defense is, like, Heiskanen's, like, he's been good. Like, these guys have been good offensively, but, like, they're falling apart, man. They can't play defense.
No. Or chew their ass out, Kyle. Steel-toe boots work, though.
I don't want to chew anybody's ass out, but thank you for that.
That might be the comment of the night. I think that's the comment of the night so far.
Neil, I mean, Neil.
Or your buddy Dylan. But
Dylan, if that's how you want to roll, man, be my guest.
I was gonna bring this up to you because I was really curious. You know, because we have a commercial break right now with 5.5 minutes to go in the first period. Yeah. Do you feel that this playoffs in general, as a whole, has been good, disappointing, indifferent? Like, I'm just curious because there have been some good, you know, series and good games. Don't get me wrong. I just think personally there's just been way too many blowouts and way too many one-sided games. And I'm not just talking about, you know, when the Devils were in it, but I'm like, look at all the series. There were a lot of games in these series. And then you're looking at both conference finals, right? Florida sweeps Carolina, and Vegas has a chance to sweep Dallas, and we have 2 sweeps in the conference finals. Like what are your thoughts on this playoffs overall this year?
I think you're starting to see more and more, like, as the years go on, like, the conference finals and the finals, I think, are starting to get less and less viewership, right? And this is a prime example, right? Where it's another sweep. Now, mind you, it's great for all the fans for Florida and Vegas and whatever, and they love it, and I totally get it. As a Canadian unbiased fan, I'm finding it difficult, even in the second round. Like, I would watch the odd, like, the Leaf game or whatever the Oilers were on too, like, even though it's tough because being a Flames fan, which is great.
Right.
Like, I've been finding it difficult, and you didn't, obviously, because you had the Devils in the second round, right? So I've just been finding it hard to try to stay engaged when you're right. Like, they have been blowouts, and they haven't really been, I don't know, I don't want to say exciting, but, like, the stupid thing is like, for the 4 overtime game that they had in game 1, I'm not staying up for that.
No, I mean, I didn't. I stayed up for the first 2 overtimes, and I went to bed, if I'm being honest.
Right. Action coming up here, Neil.
As now a shot there is now an opportunity. Rupe Hintz gets it over. Shot there! Stopped, scramble in front. Adin Hill looking for it. Puck is still loose, and we're going to get a penalty. And I think it's going to be against Vegas. It looks like it's a high stick, as I think it's going to be McNabb that's going to the sin bin here, as Dallas with a really good chance, really good rush there overall.
Was it on Rupe Hintz, or was it? Oh, no, it's Pavelski. Never mind.
Yeah, I think Pavelski got high stick, and then it was, I think it's Brady McNabb going to the box. So now Dallas, with about 5 minutes to go here in this first period, Kyle, got a really good opportunity here to potentially tie it in. Maybe not a high stick. I could go cross-check there. Wasn't much of a high stick, as more as just McNabb's hands got up there.
I was like, he kind of sold it a little bit. Like, mind you, his hands shouldn't be up there in the first place. His hands shouldn't be up there in the first place, but they're gonna call that all day long.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to. As Dallas power play 5th in the playoffs this year with a 29.2 success percentage. Vegas's penalty kill 64.3, which is near the bottom of the playoffs. 14th. That is brutal.
Okay, well, mind you, they were playing Edmonton. So.
Right, and that's just going to happen, and Edmonton's crazy. By the way, should also mention, Dallas has scored 14 power play goals in these playoffs. 11 of them, Jamie Benn was on the ice. So
let's find out here.
Let's see if okay. So now Robertson has the puck at center ice. Robertson walks the line, gets it over to Tyler Seguin. Seguin drops it top of the point to Heiskanen. Heiskanen walks the line. Heiskanen still with it, gets it over to the right side to Rupe Hintz. Now to Heiskanen, top of the point, waits over to Hintz. Hint right face-off dot. Hintz now gets to Heiskanen, top of the point. Heiskanen feeds it in front there. That was deflected. Pounce up in the air, and they score! It's Jason Robertson as he beats Adin Hill. He might have whacked it out of the air, but regardless, it finds the back of the net, and we are tied.
Wait, hold on.
There now we go. I messed up. Sorry.
Got it. There we go.
Now we're tied.
The score thing, I know we were talking about.
I know. Sorry, Jacob. That's my fault.
Yeah.
Wow, that was like a lacrosse play almost.
A little bit, right?
Like, it pops up in the air, pops up again, and then Robertson is able to, like, move his stick over to here and, like, whack it in. What's going on, Catherine?
Yep. Yeah, that's tough for Adin Hill, but I mean, the guy.
Jacob, I'd love for you to explain to me how this should not be a goal. Like, what reason is there that it's not a goal? Because Dallas scored it? Is that why it's not a goal?
Wait.
The world's smallest violin. He hit Aiden's skull. So I've seen plenty of times where that happens. And first of all, he hit it out of midair. Like, Adin Hill lost the puck. He didn't get it hit out of his hand.
Anyway.
But we are tied thanks to a Jason Robertson power play goal. 15th power play goal of the playoffs for the Stars, man. So they just continue to have a lot of success with that.
Janelle was just asking here. They were mad at asking why not at Yankee Stadium or Citi Field. Both stadiums already hosted outdoor games. I guess the Yankee Stadium hosted an outdoor game.
Yeah, back in 2014, the Devils played the Rangers, and then the Rangers then played the Islanders. It was ridiculous that the Rangers got to play in 2 outdoor games, and both the Islanders and Devils only played in 1. It was, again, just such a crock of you-know-what. And then a wraparound chance there from Dallas. Scramble in front, and Adin Hill gets it. And, oh, my, a little bit of pushing and shoving. I think even Adin Hill wants to get in on this action here. But cooler heads prevail. But yeah, so there were 2 games at Yankee Stadium, and then the Rangers played the Sabres in the 2018 Winter Classic at Citi Field.
Okay, got it.
So, yep.
I was just going to say, have you seen like how tall Aiden Hill is?
Isn't he like 6'5" or 6'4"?
He's like 6'7".
Is he 6'7"? No way. He's not that tall.
He's like he's like 6'6" or 6'7". I'm gonna pull it up.
Aiden Hill height. He is 6'6". What?
He's 6'6". He's so tall.
He's taller than the other. Like the closest goaltender on Vegas to him in height is still 2 inches shorter, and that's Logan Thompson, 6'4".
I know. That's
holy crap! He doesn't look that tall, honestly.
Does the Panthers run remind you of the Kings, Blues, and Canadiens?
No, maybe.
Not
I don't
really.
know. Let me think.
No.
2012, like the Kings went to the final. They were an 8 seed. They won their first 10 road games of the playoffs. That was pretty remarkable. But they had a lot of talent. I would say a little more than what Florida had. And like, here's the other thing. No, go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
I was just going to say, the only one it reminds me of is probably Montreal because it's been goaltending. For the majority, Bobrovsky, if it wasn't for Bobrovsky, they wouldn't be there, right?
I agree.
It's like, to me, it reminds me more of Montreal, and maybe add a superstar to the roster, right? Mm-hmm. A more polarizing superstar. You know what I mean? That's what it reminds me of. But go ahead with what you're saying.
So I just want to say, by the way, Jason Robertson, the previous 8 games, he had not scored a goal. The last 3, he has scored 3 goals. Or the last 4, excuse me. So he has really, again, he's your star player. Like, he has to step up, and he has in these last couple of games.
Yeah, for sure. But I would, yeah. Go ahead. I just finished what you were saying. I kind of
I was going to say, I mean, for 2019, the thing about it with the Blues is that we have to remember that on January 1st of 2019, they were in dead last. So that was kind of more remarkable than this. I'm not saying what Florida has done is not remarkable. It is certainly remarkable. But I do see some similarities to all of those teams, though. I can see it.
Yep. And the haunting thing for me is the Flames had more points than the Panthers.
That was probably the funniest thing that I saw. I'm sorry, but like they were showing like the Panthers were the 17th team in the NHL going into these playoffs.
That's so fucked up, man.
Well, you know what? I keep saying it. You want to complain? Everyone wants to complain about the draft lottery and complain about the Panthers making the cup. Here's the thing. Blame the Penguins. Blame the Pittsburgh Penguins, all right? They're the reason that all of this is happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Go back when they lost to Columbus and Chicago at the end of the season. They win one of those games, Florida doesn't get in. Period.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's how they were so close to. They went on a little bit of a heater at the end of the season, and then obviously, like they were down 3-1 to Boston, and nobody saw this coming, right?
No, and remember, Brad Marchand had a breakaway in Game 5 in overtime. Or excuse me, right at the end of the third period. He scores there. None of this happens. None of it.
I think for me, like that's been the story of the playoffs. That's been the only thing that I think has been like an intriguing as it pertains to storylines. Like I think that one's been the most intriguing one. Like I thought, like our series, what we did with the Rangers series, I was fully invested in that. Right. Like I thought it was an awesome series. I thought the Leafs Lightning just following it was okay. Game 7, like when the Panthers started to come back, it was like, okay, now we got like that's another storyline right there, right? So like I don't know if there's a lot out west as it pertains to storylines. Maybe early on in the playoffs, like you can say the Kraken Avalanche, maybe, but like closer to Game 7. Other than that, there wasn't really a hell of a lot that was going on out there.
No, I mean it just. And granted, like it's good that the series got more interesting as the playoffs went on. I think the second round showed us a lot of excitement, and I'm really curious to know, Kyle, because you and I were both polling for Seattle in Game 7 against Dallas in round 2, and obviously it didn't happen. Do you think that Seattle would be putting up a better fight than Dallas right now if Seattle had made it to the conference finals?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's fair.
I'm going to say no because Dallas had these first two games under control, right? They were leading in game 2-1 until Vegas scored with 3 minutes left. And I don't remember what happened in game 1, but I know they went to double overtime.
Yep.
Double overtime. So they could very easily be up 2-0 in this series. And I think and then obviously the shit that happened in game 3. I don't think Seattle's a better team yet compared to Dallas. And I think the result showed in game 7 because there just wasn't a lot of firepower left. And that was one thing that I was wondering, because that's what was carrying them all the way through was the goaltending that Grubauer was giving them and the fact that they were getting scoring from everybody on that team. So at some point it had to run out, right? So first intermission coming to an end here.
Yeah, I was going to say. And guys, the reason we were talking so much is because, quite honestly, despite there being 2 goals, there really wasn't that much end-to-end action from either one of these teams. It was a pretty mellow first period, but after 20 minutes of play, William Karlsson with a goal for Vegas, and then you had Jason Robertson with the goal for Dallas on the power play. So, Kyle, really quickly here before we jump into our first intermission report, your thoughts from both teams after 20.
I like the Stars finally had a response, but I think it says a lot, though, how Vegas jumped on them pretty early. And, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to come out with a little more pep in their step in the second period. And I'd like to see if now that they finally got a goal on Aiden Hill, because it took them almost over 100 minutes or whatever to finally score on him, if that's going to break him at all and to see whether or not he's going to respond well as the 2 periods go on.
Yeah, no question. So we'll see. We'll see what both teams have, and we have a lot to talk about here as we get ready for our first intermission report. But before we do that, and you guys already know what's coming, we're going to step aside for our first time tonight to get a word from our sponsors. And welcome everybody here to our first intermission report of our game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. And after 20 minutes of play, we have a tie hockey game. Again, William Karlsson, about 4.5 minutes into this one, got the Golden Knights on the board first. And then later on the period, Jason Robertson with kind of a baseball-type move, kind of whacking it out of midair, scoring on the power play. He tied it up at 1, and that's where we are after 20. Couple of comments here as our good buddy Andrew B is in the chat. What is going on, Andrew? Good to see you, my friend. Doing pretty well. Back here for another exciting live watch along as always. You can tell by Kyle's face he is really excited.
I'm so excited. What are you talking about? I was excited to get back on tonight.
No, of course. No, I mean, And obviously, I'm definitely happy and excited to be back. I'm hoping that maybe we get to do some Cup final games if nobody else wants to do it. I'm definitely
Why
down for
not?
that.
I'd like to try and do game one if it like we were talking about this before we jumped on. Like, because is it scheduled for a certain date?
I thought it was originally scheduled for like early June, but then I
Right.
saw that Jacob said earlier was the 31st of May. So I don't know if maybe it changed. Um,
Maybe.
Let me look. I just want to like. All
Because
right.
there's no way
This
it's
was
not
2 days. All right. So DraftKings on their website. Shout out to DraftKings, by the way, official sports betting partner of THPN. When you sign up for DraftKings, use our promo code THPN and make sure to bet responsibly, especially with the Stanley Cup Finals coming up very, very soon. The NBA Finals is coming up very soon. It probably will start next week. I believe June 1st, they said, was game number one between and maybe Miami. And it would either be Miami or Boston against them, which would be, I think it's going to be fun either way on that one. But it says here, the Cup Finals expect to start on Saturday, June 3rd. If the Western Conference Finals goes the distance, the last day for that series would be Wednesday, May 31st. So the answer to the question is June 3rd.
5.
And they probably won't change the date either because they already had it set up. So
if it ends tonight,
right?
Go ahead.
No, I was about to say what you're about to say, so go ahead.
Yeah, like if it ends tonight, that's a week and 2 days.
That's 9 days. 9 days. 9 days of no hockey. Good job. Good job, NHL. You really did a good job on that one.
Like why? Like what I don't understand is like why do they have to schedule it? Like you can't. Like what? You have to do this in advance.
It's tough to say, honestly, because think about it. Like TNT is doing the Cup final, right? This year, TNT is doing it. The NBA, it's going to be all ESPN. There's no scheduling conflict in terms of television. So, again, we can't necessarily blame the NHL because they have to do it ahead of time before the series starts.
Right.
And so, like, they could not predict that, Florida would sweep Carolina and that potentially, Vegas does the same to Dallas if they win tonight. Like, could they reschedule? Could they move it up? Maybe. I have no idea.
You would have to, right? I don't know.
It's good for the players. That's too many days off for both teams, right? Because think about it. Vegas wins tonight. That's 9 days. Florida won last night. That's 10 days for them. 10.
Yeah. I think, okay, so hypothetically, let's just say it ends tonight. And I'm looking at the calendar. I think a reasonable start date, Tuesday.
So that would be what, the 30th?
Or Monday even.
Monday's fine.
Right? Because you'd have 1, 2, 3. You would have 3. I would say Tuesday. Give them 4 days off max because they've earned it. Right?
Right.
You've earned it because now you're in the Cup final. You deserve a little bit of a break.
Florida would get 5 days if you want to make it Tuesday.
So. Right. Yeah, I would argue Tuesday would be a good start date.
Yeah.
I just think so next Saturday?
Yeah. Next week, that's brutal.
No way. No shot. You're going to lose so many people for viewership.
Well, because like unless you're talking about just the hockey fans, like of course they'll be there and everything like that. But in terms of the casual fan, like you're going to lose them.
Right.
You're going to lose them.
Do you think over the years, let's take the last, 15 years, for example, that arena scheduling conflicts, who's conflicting though with?
Well, let's think about it. In Sunrise, who the hell other than the Panthers uses that arena?
Nobody.
Nobody.
And
then you look at Vegas. Yeah, Vegas.
What, the WNBA?
I don't think they play in T-Mobile Arena, though.
I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's no conflict with that. Okay, but what I was going to ask was, like, the last 15 years, is it just me or do you think the Cup final has been just really played down, like, not as hyped? Like, do you not remember the days?
Yeah. By the way, concerts. Concerts. Yeah, especially in Vegas, I can see where you're going with that. So yeah.
Yeah. I guess like stuff has already been planned. Like
June 8th. What?
From June 8th. June 8th.
No, you're looking at Jacob, you're looking at last year's start.
Yeah, that's like 2 weeks. No shot.
That would be ludicrous.
I was gonna say, like, do you remember the days where like it was like the Pittsburgh Detroit finals, like the friggin' even the Canucks and the Bruins final, the Devils and the Kings, like how like excited we were to watch those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just me or has it been like really just nothing? I don't know. Like
there isn't as much hype. I don't think the NHL does a good enough job of getting people excited for these type of matchups. Like the NBA, looking at it from the NBA's perspective, they do a great job regardless. Like regardless of who plays in it. Like if it's Nuggets Heat, they're gonna make a big deal about it. Like they're gonna make a big deal about it. We get Dallas, we get Florida and Vegas. I mean, really intriguing series. Do not get me wrong. And I think the only thing that could be good about having that long of a period between this game tonight and the start of game one, it would give the NHL time to really hype this up and get people to be like, yo, Florida, like Vegas, like this is an awesome series. Like, let's do it. And I just like from even like the logos for the Cup final looks like really bland to me. It's not that exciting.
It looks so bad. Like, because then they do like customize, like they customize the final logos and like even the playoff, like the playoff logos now is just like, I don't know.
And you know what the other thing, Kyle, and I don't know if you would agree, there's no Stanley Cup playoff or finals logos on the ice anymore.
I think that took away so many people were pissed off about it. I hate it. I hate it so much. But no, we have to see Harvey's. We have to see Swiss Chalet. We have to see those sponsors on the ice because that matters so much.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's too much, man.
I was going to say, Hefty Duck, here's the thing, though. Like, it's not necessarily about the fact that, like, I'm not a Panthers fan or Vegas fan, and same thing with Kyle. It's more of, like you just said after this, is the marketing problem. Like, the teams themselves are going to do whatever they can, but like, I think for Florida, it's going to be tough. If Florida's going to be tough, especially if Miami makes the NBA Finals, because
South is loving it.
Yeah,
right. Like, because it's all the Southern teams with Dallas, Vegas, Florida, and what was Carolina. Right. For us up, because we're both fairly up north. Right. It's tough to like grab our attention a little bit as they're showing Matthew Tkachuk score the goal.
Kyle, don't ever diss Swiss Chalet. That's what Dylan just said.
I haven't had Swiss Chalet in like 5 or 6 years.
Jesus. Like the biggest hype for the Canes Panthers was the post that both teams are coming out. Well, that's the other thing. Like, nobody has hyped up either of these conference finals series.
Nobody.
None.
No.
The NHL did a really good job in the first round with some of the matchups that they had to really get it excited, like Devils Rangers and, even like Kraken against the Avalanche. And then like as the series went on, they did a better job of making it interesting. Maybe it has to do with some of the big name teams are out of it, that it's just harder. Because like, let's look at it this way. Of the 4 teams that were left in these conference finals, you had Florida, small market, Carolina, small market, Dallas, you got to call it like it. Dallas, to me, is borderline. Maybe not. Maybe I'm being too harsh.
I think it's big in Texas. I don't think we understand that Dallas Stars hockey in Texas means all.
It's their only team. That's the only hockey team you have in the entire state. So,
and then Vegas is fairly new, but it's like when you go, like I like to think you don't go to Vegas to live there. You go there for the amenities, the attractions, right?
This is why, and people will totally disagree with me because of where they play. But that's why I keep saying that Vegas is a small market team. And I say only because, yes, they play in the Sin City. They play in the biggest gambling city in the entire world, right? But as you just said, people are not always going to watch the Golden Knights play. There's a lot of times where people are going to see them play, but they're tourists because that's just an attraction that's there.
And it's only going to get worse because they bring in football, because they bring in now I don't know how much baseball is going to do there, but it's bringing in all of these things all of a sudden, right? And maybe hockey just gets put down to the bottom step.
Well, this was the big thing I said about with regards to Vegas in the first couple of years before the Raiders moved to Vegas. I said, you got to build your fan base now, because if you don't have a strong fan base, you're going to get lost in the shuffle right away. Because even though the Raiders are not very good, and believe me, they're really not that good, they have a very strong fan base.
Yes.
Regardless of where they play, whether they played in Oakland, Los Angeles, or in Vegas. So, like, what I'm saying is simply this. The NHL does a very piss poor job of marketing itself. They really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
They just don't. Don't. That's the thing. The reality is, I just don't think they do it, period.
It's been brutal, man. But only thing I'll say with Vegas is winning fixes everything, and they've been doing that, right? Their first season they came to the league was the Stanley Cup final, right? It got people into it right away. So after visiting Vegas, it was crazy how many night stores, merch, jerseys around I saw. I'd like to see over the years what that looks like, right? If they become ghost towns, maybe. Give it 10 years.
It's still a newer attraction. You have to remember, like, this is only, year 4, 5 of their 5. Like, they're still fairly new. And here's the other thing. They haven't had a period of time where they've been bad or dog shit. They haven't.
1 year.
Yeah, but they missed the playoffs by a couple of points. They didn't get totally, like, they didn't go
supposed to get in.
It's not like, Anaheim or Columbus having a god-awful season. It's not like that. Right. It's more of like, once we get to that point, what is it going to look like? That's the way I look at it. And by the way, Hefty Duck mentioned this. It's another good point. Vegas has the highest valuation of any team left in the playoffs at $965 million. That's 17th in the NHL. And then look at this. Stars are at 18th. The Canes are at 28th. And the Panthers are 31st. 31st. Wow. They are the second least valued team in the entire league. And again, this is not a knock on the teams that are in the playoffs. It's not their fault. It's not the players, coaches, GMs. It's not even like entirely the owner's fault either. I mean, they could do a better job, but like, what can they really do? It's the reality of the NHL is not doing a good enough job of giving coverage to all the teams fairly.
Right.
They just don't do that.
Right.
And they're just shooting themselves in the foot because there's so many markets to reach out to. And like, now we're hearing Atlanta again. And it's like, why? We've been down this road several times. It doesn't work. It has not worked. It will not work.
So,
like, you're just missing.
So let's bring up the conversation of Arizona, because they've been kicking that horse around trying to make it work, and it's done. By the way,
this is an incredibly long intermission report, by the way. I don't know why this is so long tonight.
Mike Tyson is wearing a Stars jersey with Ty Domi.
Yeah, they showed that earlier on ESPN. I guess you're watching. Are you watching on Sportsnet?
Mike Tyson, Ty Domi, and Ric Flair all in the same room.
That's disturbing. That's absolutely. Maybe they'll show it on my TV. I kind of want to see it.
Win that
no,
fight.
They're not.
Wait,
Kyle, where are you watching this? Are you watching this on TSN?
I got Sportsnet.
You have Sportsnet. Okay, so like I'm getting because I'm watching on ESPN here in the States. I'm getting a completely different look.
Who would win in a fight? Ric Flair, Ty Domi, or Mike Tyson?
Ooh, that's the. I don't know. Ty Domi might win. It's possible.
What, you think he's going to be Mike Tyson?
As long as Mike Tyson doesn't bite off his ear, yeah.
I mean,
how good is Ric Flair? Like, let's be honest. Like, what did he do in his entire career? Like, he's a WWE. I'm sorry, he's a wrestler.
He was an entertainer. As they start.
He was an entertainer. Okay, there you go.
I was going to quickly ask as they start the period here. So now that Arizona is going to probably go, where do they go? What are the possibilities? Where do they go? Like Kansas City, Salt Lake City?
Kansas City, maybe. I don't know. By the way, the second period has just gotten underway, by the way.
Yeah. Kansas City, I think, would do really well. You got Patrick Mahomes there and Travis Kelce there for a I would imagine, a long time, at least Patrick Mahomes. And you don't think that he was already mentioning it on Twitter that he would love it. Okay, I need a reason why then, Dylan. Houston. I want.
Yeah. What is the infatuation with Houston? Is it because of how big the Dallas Stars are? Like, is that what's going on here? Like,
maybe.
What is the infatuation? Like, the last time the Houston had a professional hockey team was the Houston Aeros when Gordie Howe was playing with his sons, way back in the day. So I don't know. I don't see it.
I like Kansas City. I don't know about Salt Lake City. I think that'd be kind of cool that they get something.
Where did that come from? That's the one that got me. Where the hell did that come from?
Milwaukee?
No.
Milwaukee, maybe? No. I don't know.
Like here's the thing. University of Wisconsin, big hockey program, right?
Right.
But is that going to be good enough to then have a professional NHL team?
No.
Like, if you're thinking Milwaukee, you might as well think North Dakota.
True.
I'm not even being disrespectful because North Dakota has a phenomenal program up there. But that's what I'm saying. You gotta think in your brain. And first of all, the other thing is this. This is not an expansion either if Arizona moves. This is an expansion. This is just moving a team from one place to another. But I think another issue is a shot there from Rupe Hintz just goes wide of Aiden Hill is the fact that there's also been too much movement around the league of late. You had Vegas 5 years ago, and then had Seattle 2 years ago, and now we're all of a sudden going, well, Arizona's going to move. There's a little bit of a lack of stability around the league. It's not a lot, but it is noticeable.
When does it stop? When does it end? Right? Does it end at 40 teams? Does it end at 50 teams? When does it end?
That's true.
When is it going to get too big to the point where it's just not sustainable?
Right.
That's I don't know.
It's the thing you worry.
But would you kick around the idea with Quebec City even? I don't know.
Here's the thing about Quebec City. They have a very passionate fan base. There is no question about that. No one's going to deny that. They've been all over the NHL. They've gone to games promoting the fact that they want it. They do have an arena. Unfortunately, the arena is not big enough, at least for now, that can fill, to be at least average NHL attendance. As a shot there from Dallas off the draw there is stopped by Hill. Good shot there. Kind of surprised a little bit, but he makes the save.
I was going to say, it's big enough, man. There's 18,000 people you could fit into that arena.
Oh, and a passion. And maybe it's that Montreal fans are making more of a stink about it because they don't want their, French-Canadian little brother back in the league or whatever the hell. But here's the thing. Quebec City has been knocking on the door for decades now. They were in the final stages before losing out to Vegas. They were in the final stages before losing out to Seattle. At what point does the NHL just say, you know what? Fine.
Take it. Yeah.
And I feel like it would be better if it wasn't an expansion team. If the Arizona Coyotes went to Quebec, I don't think it would be that bad. I know Arizona needs time to get better, no question. But, that's the way I look at it.
That's fair. And it hasn't, for how many years it just hasn't worked in Arizona. And it's never going to work. The only time you're going to get people in the arena is if they're going to go on another cup run or whatever, right?
And Dylan, here's the thing though. What are they doing right now that's growing the game? What are they doing right now?
Right.
Explain it. We go to Vegas, fine. Seattle made sense. Seattle made a lot of sense. There's a good shot there from Johnson. It's fought off by Hill. As now Vegas comes the other way. Might have a 2-on-1. Riley Smith up the way. Feeds it over the goal. It's a backhand try, and he shot it wide. Oh, William Karlsson had a great chance, but I don't think he got enough of it. And by the time he controlled it, he shot it completely wide of the zone there.
Oh. Yeah, of course, I would assume they would, growing the game, okay, so where would you grow the game then?
So they Danelle. Thank you, Danelle, for bringing this up. Right, Kansas City, Houston, Salt Lake City, Sacramento. Of those four cities, where are we growing the game? Houston, maybe.
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
I would argue Kansas City.
How big is Kansas City? Most people think Kansas City is in Kansas, and it's not. This is the thing. No, I'm serious.
You're so heated about this. I love it. I love it.
No, just like it irritates me. No, here's the thing. I want the Coyotes to succeed. I think but it just pisses me off because they've had so many ownership changes, and nobody seems to be trying hard enough to get it going. That's my issue.
I mean, wherever they decide to move it, though, it's going to be better than Arizona because it's not working. It hasn't been working there, and you get all these NHL players. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and it doesn't feel like, you talk about, remember, guys, the stadium plan that just got disallowed, that was plan B. That was not plan A.
Right. Yeah.
Plan A didn't even get close to the voting part.
Yeah, because the people who fucking live there are like, we don't want to fucking pay for this anymore. We don't want you to pay for a new arena that's going to cost the taxpayers however much, right? It's the taxpayers that are going to pay for it at the end of the day.
Yep.
So, and they're like, no, like we've seen what's happened over the years, the last 10, 15 years, however long Arizona's been here for, and it doesn't work anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So they put their foot down.
I mean, and here's a good example of Kansas City. Yeah, Missouri already has the Blues.
Right.
They already have the Blues. Just saying.
So go back to Houston then.
Go back to Houston. Right. Okay. So now you're sort of cutting into the Stars market because now the Stars lose probably some of their fan base potentially, especially if you live in the Houston area and you want to be a fan of hockey. You're most likely going to take the Stars because they're in Texas.
Here's the only thing I'll say that I would agree maybe with Houston now that I think about it. Who's the Dallas Stars' biggest rival right now?
I don't know.
Right. You want to talk about going to the game? You want to talk about fan engagement a little bit? Having a team in the same state as you, right? In Texas, especially. I'd like to see when Dallas and Houston for football, what happened? What'd I miss?
And it looks like we're getting a penalty here against the Dallas Stars. It's going to be a 2-minute for slashing against Dallas. It's going to be against number 10. I think that's yeah, thank you. So yeah, now Vegas is going to get their first chance at the power play and a chance to get the lead back here as we're still tied at 1 early in this second period. We'll see it again on the replay. Yeah, I mean, he slapped the stick right out of, I think that was Haig's hands. I think that was Nick Haig. Yeah, tied to Landry, gets 2 minutes for slashing. So now we'll see what Vegas can do on their first power play.
Also, you want to see this massive mug that I have?
It's huge.
Do you know how much it was? I had a friend they want.
I'm gonna say $35.
No.
45? 65?
$69 plus tax.
Nice. Very nice.
And I didn't even pay a cent for it.
Wow, damn. Stevenson gets rocked into the boards there. Vegas in the left corner right now trying to set it up. Some good plays here from Dallas. Now the puck comes right now to Jack Eichel. Gets it. Top of the point to Shea Theodore. Now to Eichel. Theodore top of the point. Gets it over there to Marchessault. Marchessault waits. Shoots it. That one gets blocked into the left side. Jack Eichel retrieves it. Eichel in the left corner. Walks it top of the point to Shea Theodore. Theodore backhands over to Eichel. Left faceoff dot. Feeds it in front. Over to Marchessault. Marchessault looking for it. It's taken away by Dallas. And they'll clear. A little bit too much passing there so far in this power play for Vegas.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, Dallas has come alive a little because now they get more shots on goal and they've been starting to play well defensively, and they need a response here.
Dallas clears it again. I would say that Dallas has been the more active team so far in the second period. I think This is definitely the type of start you want in the period, but obviously it's got to translate to start to get some goals as Carlson now takes a sharp angle try that goes wide of Ottinger. And I think deflected also out of play.
Carlson's been really good. Carlson's been a guy who hasn't been talked about enough, I think. Because he came from, where did he come from the expansion? Columbus.
He was he's been there since the expansion draft. He's been there the entire time.
Him, Marchessault been there. Riley Smith has been there since the beginning.
Smith.
Who else? McNabb, I think.
I just realized something also, Kyle. Marchessault and Riley Smith were two guys that were left unprotected by none other than the Florida Panthers in the expansion draft.
So if they meet in the final, man,
yeah, that's going to be something.
Boy.
Oh, my God. There's a lot of really interesting storylines if we get Dallas, Florida. Vegas, Florida. I'm being seriously, there's a lot of really interesting storylines with that.
If Dallas can get this is what I mean. It was funny. When I was watching the game last night, I thought Carolina was so capable of getting back into that series. I think they're not a bad. Clearly, they're not a bad team, no, and I honestly thought they were just getting buggered with injuries throughout the game yesterday. And that's kind of what led
Jacob Slavin getting absolutely obliterated by Sam Bennett.
So I mentioned it last night. It was a great hit. It was a clean hit, 10 out of 10. Loved it. The only part I didn't like about it was the fact that when you watch the replay from Bennett, he was I don't want to call it targeting. He knew though he was going in for a check, right?
Right.
From the top, he was from the top of the circle, went right to him, right to the behind the net where he got hit. So I didn't love that. I don't like guys who are thinking I'm gonna go check him right away. You know what I mean? And I don't even know how to explain it. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. He went in. He had plenty of time to realize he was going to do that. It's Rupe Hintz with a shot that is fought off by Hill. Hintz keeps it in, feeds it over to the left side. A shot there from Dallas, and it goes wide and out of play. Robertson can't believe it. He can't believe he didn't get that one past Hill or even on net.
Hill's he's going to be very tough to beat, man.
Nothing seems to phase him right now. As we got about 11 minutes to go in this second period. Still 1-1 here between Vegas and Dallas. But, I think when you just look at how kind of going back to the marketing thing, there's so much wrong, I think, in the NHL in terms of that.
There's so many things wrong. The player's safety is wrong. The marketing's wrong. There's so many things wrong with the NHL. There's too many things. There's too many things to count. The Leafs are wrong for existing.
The Leafs are wrong for being around.
Oh my God, I hate them
it's almost
so much.
You know what it is for me? I'll talk about with the Leafs, and maybe because I'm from the United States, so it's different. But after a while with the Leafs, it just gets annoying. It's not even funny anymore. It's just
welcome to my world.
God, do something.
Yeah, welcome to my world.
You got past the first round, and it's great. Can you do anything else? It's so hard for you to win a playoff series, apparently.
The crazy thing is between now and July 1st is the biggest time for the Leafs, right? Because
I think we have time. We have to talk about that. We have to talk about all that stuff.
Right. So let's start it then. They have.
Oh, by the way, Dylan just made this good point. Yes, if Snoop Dogg becomes an owner in the NHL, that actually is going to really help in just the terms of marketing. It's going to be really good. Dylan says Toronto is the only team in Canada according to the media, Neil. What? Is that really how it works? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much. If Toronto, I think especially when Sportsnet does these do the playoff games and all that, as much as they put a lot of emphasis on the Canadian teams, when when Dubas got fired, for example, and they had the intermissions, whatever during the game. They're not talking about the game. They're talking about Dubas getting fired. What's going to happen next? Blah, blah, blah.
Right. Because they're bored.
Yeah, it's true. Because they don't want to talk about these other teams. They want to talk about the Leafs. It sucks, but it's true. So, the interesting thing, though, what I was just going to quickly say.
Guys, I promise you, by the way, the game is going on. There just really isn't a whole lot going on. I feel like both teams are playing chess right now. It's who's going to make a move? Yeah, right. They're playing chess, but not checkers. Thank God.
I think we'll be more. You know what? If it stays like this, though, I think we'll be more engaged in the third period. Just because, again, I'm finding it hard to be engaged. I'm finding it difficult to be engaged into this.
But we do appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream as well as subscribe. Hit that notification bell, guys. We are approaching 4,000 subscribers, and I gave you guys a task at the beginning of these playoffs to get us to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the last game of the Cup final. Still have time to do so, so continue to like, share with your family and friends, get them to like and subscribe as well. And the only way you can interact with the chat, by the way, is by subscribing. So make sure you do that and hit the notification bell to get notified. Is now a breakaway chance for Eichel. Backhand try and stop, rebound try as well. It's fought off by Jake Ottinger. Oh, Jack Eichel with 2 golden opportunities, no pun intended, but he could not cash in as Ottinger shuts the door.
I didn't want to say anything because I'm like, oh, Neil.
You're like, Neil, shut up.
Neil,
Stop talking. That was funny earlier. It's a shot there from Vegas gets fought off by Andre. I think it was funny earlier. You were like, Neil. I think actually. Oh, no. That's now McNabb with the puck, gets it behind the net, over to McNabb. McNabb feeds it over, shot, and they score! It is Jonathan Marchessault gets one past Jake Ottinger, and the Golden Knights are back in front. It's 2-1.
I just want to see that breakaway again. Like, oh, there was nobody.
I didn't see the puck go in. If I'm being honest with you, Kyle, I didn't see that puck go in at all.
I didn't either. I got a good view here. Let's see here. Eichel's got it behind the net. Marchessault kind of escapes off to the corner. Pretty simple ticky-tacky play there, and it was just a bad job by Robertson.
Can we talk about the feed from Braden McNabb there? Look at this pass through the legs of Ryan Sutter, and then Marchessault just taps it in. It was beautiful. Just beautiful.
Marchessault's been so good, man. He's been so
I still
good.
hate his guts. I still just hate his guts.
Why?
Well, it goes back to 2019. He just makes like some really lame-ass comment about the 5-minute major against the Sharks. And I'm like, dude, you also had a 3-1 series lead and lost. Stop complaining about the refs in Game 7 when you could have ended it in Game 5, 6, or 7. Other than that, I like the guy a lot. Honestly, I like the guy a lot. I remember when he was, I think he was I forgot what year he was a free agent. And I remember saying the Devils need to go get him because he would bring a scoring, punch to the team and all that stuff. Right. But other than also him wearing 81 just kind of looks cool for him. I don't know why.
It does. It's it's signature almost, right? So he's
like Phil Kessel. It's like Phil Kessel wearing 81. It just works.
Bro, he's in the box right now. Phil Kessel's on this team.
Oh, I forgot. Right, he's on this team.
On the fucking team.
We forget. Yeah, because he's not playing, right?
Yes.
What happened? He get benched?
Yeah, I think so.
Does he just suck now? What is going on?
He's up there eating hot dogs, baby.
Oh, he can eat hot dogs all the way to winning a third cup. That's what he can do.
Bro, he's just chilling there eating hot dogs.
Wait, if he wins a third cup, and granted, he hasn't been playing, Kyle, but if he wins a third cup, is he a Hall of Famer?
No.
You don't think he has the stats? You don't think he's there?
No. Because he had the chance to be that guy with maybe Boston early in his career.
No, the Leafs. No, right? not Boston. The Leafs.
The Leafs. And it didn't come to fruition, man. Man, here's the thing. Especially with the Leafs, right now that we're talking about it, how many guys do you think are going to be Hall of Famers by the end of their careers for the Leafs?
One. I don't think Mitch Marner's a Hall of Famer.
Okay, I don't either. No, I don't either. I think there has to be.
I think Austin Matthews is the closest guy.
I don't even think he is.
Kyle, I'm giving you a hot take. I think Matthew Tkachuk is now a top 5 player in the league. By the way.
He is.
Because people want to say Austin Matthews. My God, when is he going to do anything other than do stuff in the regular season?
Right.
Just saying.
He's not a lot of people were surprised. Oh my God, he's fighting Steven Stamkos. He can actually throw a punch. It's that's what Matthew Tkachuk's been doing his whole career, right? So I would argue that, yeah, you're right. Tkachuk's definitely a top 5 player in the league. I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think he's absolutely.
Well, I think he cemented it last night, just in my opinion. I think he cemented it. It was oh my God, he had his moment. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, he did. I would argue that even when he cemented it last night, yeah, I would even argue he might be close to a top 3 player.
I don't think John Tavares is a Hall of Famer. I just don't.
I don't think by the end of their careers.
By the way, the Islanders I'm just going to say this for Islander fans.
Neil.
It's now Dallas. It's now Vegas has the puck behind the net. It squirts out, and now it's taken away by Dallas. Here they come up the right side with speed. Dumping in into the right side. Here comes Dallas, feeds it in front, and that one gets crashed in as Aiden Hill just goes airborne for a second. No penalty? Question mark?
I'm shocked that they're like
there's nothing, just nothing. It just he crashes into Hill, and that's that.
Like that's got to be something, right?
We'll see it again. By the way, great feed there. Great feed in it.
Oh, he's pissed.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Wait, who crashed? Let me see it again. All right. Okay. From the angle I just saw, Braden McNabb kind of got the legs of the Dallas Star player, and then he proceeded to fall into Hill.
So like
his stick got him. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, DeAndre. Was it DeAndre? No. It's Glendening that went into went into there.
Jesus, man, I thought they were going to score there. That's why I was like,
I don't know. It would have to be one of those backhand, like over the shoulder type goals. The way that set up is Haskin with a drive, and that one is fought off by Aiden Hill. Is now Dallas still with it now. Haskin at top of the point gets over to the right face-off dot. Robertson throws it, and that one is saved by Aiden Hill. Dallas still with it. Pavelski wraps it around the boards, gets it over to his teammate. Now a drive there off a one-time shot from Robertson gets blocked. Some good pressure here from Dallas as they look to try to even it up again. Somebody gets pushed from behind, no penalty. Heiskanen top of the point, over to the left side, gets it now to Hintz, now to Heiskanen, drive by Robertson, and a beautiful glove save and cover from Aiden Hill. That was highway robbery.
Did you see the little, like, the whoop?
That's what I love about goalies sometimes. That's when you know they're kind of in the zone. When they make a save like that, they're just like, I got it. Not a problem. He didn't have to do it like that either. He's just like,
no. He's got such a weird stance. Do you find he's a stand-up?
He's very hunchbacked, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like he's very like this. Maybe it's his pads. Maybe that's just his like pads that are doing it.
Well, there's
Andy,
styles.
I finished it. In case you're wondering, Andy, I finished it. So like that's where I'm at.
Oh yeah, I got a big glass of wine in here. No.
Oh yeah, Kyle had a nice glass of wine over the last couple of days. Congratulations, by the way, to Kyle's sister who got married. Just wanted to congratulate. I don't know what was her name, by the way. I'm sorry.
Aaron.
Congratulations to Aaron on getting married. That is awesome. And congratulations to you as well, Kyle.
Thank you. Yeah, they're in Italy right now. So.
Jeez, that was fast.
They were. The funniest thing, real quick, before we get back to this, is
guys, I screwed up again. Here's the score. I swear to God, it's still 2-1.
So, the now husband, right? I was talking to him after the wedding, and he's like, "Man, that morning, like, I went out, played golf, I played some video games like throughout the day, and then he's like, well, I got about an hour. I guess I should get ready."
So that was on his wedding day.
That was on the wedding day. Meanwhile, my sister.
That is hilarious. That is absolutely sick. That is so sick.
All day to get ready, the makeup and all that, and it's like he's just out there golfing.
I remember the last wedding I went to. The person that like I was their date, like she got up at like 4:30, and I'm like, "Why are you up?" And she goes like, "I'm getting my makeup ready. Like I'm starting." I'm like, "You can't be serious."
No. When was the wedding?
The wedding started at like 4. I'm like, "What are we doing? It's 12 hours."
We literally got ready at like an hour before it started.
Yeah.
We don't.
But this was like, I'll be fair though, this was like a massive wedding. There was like 150, like 200 people. It was in a really nice, like high class venue in Jersey City, which is in New Jersey. So like maybe it was just set up differently as Ottinger comes out of his net, but he plays it away. But that's really what it is.
We had about 20 people. We did not have that many people.
Honestly, that's the type of wedding I dream about.
Yeah, it's what if we
the less people, the better. I don't know why. For me, it's like the less people, the better.
Oh, 100%. It goes so quick. You go for drinks afterwards, and then you're done.
Danelle's congratulating you. Same thing with Andrew, by the way. So very nice.
Appreciate it. I'm not worried about
WP_Eclipse says, what's the score? It is currently 2-1 Vegas with 5:36 to go in the second period here. Thanks to a goal from Jonathan Marchessault on an SV from Braden McNabb.
Do you guys think that the Panthers deserve the Stanley Cup after beating the Bruins and sweeping the Hurricanes? And then glosses over the Leafs.
And they beat the Leafs, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
No.
Kyle just doesn't want Matthew Tkachuk to win a cup right now. Just not
like, okay, I do, but it's like at the same time I'm like, fuck. Him and Sam Bennett.
Oh yeah, and Sam Bennett too, right? Sam Bennett,
But okay.
What is Sam Bennett like? What does Sam Bennett use to grow the beard? Because like he'll start the year off with no beard, and then by the time he reaches out, his beard is massive.
That's an electrifying beard right there. Real quick with Tkachuk though. So I was looking at it last night, and I forgot that we signed him to a 3-year bridge deal at $7 million. Right. So so in a nutshell, what happened was both sides were like, he didn't want to commit long term. That was the problem, right? And then it got to the
Calgary.
In Calgary when he signed the 3-year deal. So that's why, like, I look back, I'm like, man, that should have been a red flag right away, because he did not agree to a long-term deal right there and then after his entry-level deal was finished, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what should have been alarming in the first place. So for him to fulfill his contract, and then it's all this bullshit, and all the players say the same thing where it's like, oh yeah, I would love to stay here long term. Meanwhile, they're just fucking blowing smoke up people's asses, right? 99% of the time, that's what these Leafs players are saying now. Oh, I'd love to sign here long term and not win a fucking round ever again. My point is just to finish my point is
go ahead.
Losing him for, like, at least we got something back, right? Whatever we would have got back, we would never have won this trade, right? So the fact that we got back the assets that we did, I'm still happy with it at the end of the day, right? Tkachuk, what do you want me to do? Tkachuk fulfilled his contract. We got something back for him, right? And wherever he would have went to, I don't think we would have won it at the end of the day if he went to New Jersey, if he went to Dallas, if he went to Florida with the 5 teams. He had 5 teams on his list. So, you know, Brad, and what they were talking about too was that Brad Treliving afterwards was just sitting there going, helping him throughout the entire process. You want to go to Florida? Perfect. Let's get this done for you, right? He was very helpful throughout the process.
Give Treliving a lot of credit because, like, granted, like Calgary had a disappointing year. There's no beating around the bush, right? But I think when you look at the situation he was in, I think you got to give him a little bit of credit. He got some good pieces, and like who's the new GM? Conacher, right? Is that his name? Conacher?
No, Craig Conroy.
Conroy, sorry, I'm thinking Conacher. Conroy. Yeah, and was it Conroy like the assistant GM for a long time?
He was, and he was a former player too, like with Jerome McGinley. I fucking love it. I love it. I love it so much. So I'm excited for that.
I don't think Treliving was a bad GM either. Here's the thing. Like, Johnny Gaudreau screwed the Flames in a way because he was saying for so long, like, I want to be here, this and the other thing. And then at the last minute, he was like, I'm good. Right. Like, I don't want to be here. And like, I don't blame Matthew Tkachuk for being like, well, Johnny Gaudreau's going, why should I stay here?
Right. I don't blame him at all. He took, like, I think he saw that. He exactly saw that. As soon as Gaudreau went, we all knew that he was going to go too. We weren't shocked.
That's when the rumors started. That's when the rumors started. It was like, okay, now it's about where does Matthew Tkachuk go?
Yeah, it was inevitable that it was going to happen, right? So it's not like I'm never mad at the fact that he's gone. Like, whatever, at least we got something for him, right? Yeah. And whatever the trade was going to be, we weren't going to win it. There was no situation where we were going to win that trade. It just wasn't going to happen. I think because of the assets that we got back was tremendous, and I still think it was a good trade. I look back on it; it's still a good trade. I'm shocked that we got these players in the first place, right? So, yeah, I mean, it sucks at the end of the day, and like, as disheartening as it is to see him like do this in his first year with this team, I got nothing but respect for him, man. Like, I want it. Like, you know what? If he wins it, good on him. Like, I got nothing but respect for him.
I think if you're a Flames fan, that's kind of the the best way you could look at it. They're actually showing a stat here, Kyle, on the screen of all the Golden Knights goalies records this season. Jonathan Quick 5-2-2, Yuri Patera 2-2-0. Logan Thompson was 21-13-3. Lauren Brossois was 10-7-3, 5-2 in the playoffs. And Aiden Hill, I mean, I look at the Devils. They had 7 goalies last year and didn't come close to the playoffs. Vegas has played 5, and they're 1 win away from going to the Cup final. So if you're asking for me to make it make sense, I can't. But puck goes back into the Vegas zone. Martinez wraps it around the boards. Dallas trying to keep it in. Now an opportunity. It's a 2-on-1. Eichel comes in, waits, shoots. That one is fought off and saved by Ottinger. Now an opportunity. McNabb with a shot that gets blocked. Puck comes out of the zone, and we get an offsides here against Vegas. But what a big-time save from Ottinger there on a great 2-on-1 shot from Eichel, who honestly, Kyle, has been fairly quiet tonight.
He's been quiet, but he's had so many good opportunities, man. He had the breakaway and the 2-on-1 there. Right. So, yeah, you're right. He's been quiet. I think he has
an assist. I believe he did get an assist on the Marchessault goal.
Yeah, by the way, I don't think he's been quiet. He's been good.
In terms of, I don't know, maybe that. That's the second time in this period that he's really done well. By the way, Golden Knights 9-0 when Jack Eichel gets a point. He has an assist on the Marchessault goal. It's Domi with a high-rising shot that is fought off by Hill. What a shot there from Max Domi, but a better save from Hill, who's just a freaking rock right now.
Hey, we're getting some action. Yay.
Get a little bit of action here. And we're talking about a 2-1 game. Maybe it's because it's a 3-0 series lead for Vegas that it doesn't feel as amped up. I don't know.
There's so much happening right now. You got to comment.
Because now Hill, he tried to clear, taken away by Domi. Feeds it in front there. That is stopped. Delangelo with another shot on the turnaround. It's fought up by Hill. Oh my goodness! This now starts with another shot that gets blocked in front. Dallas putting on some good pressure. Petrangelo gets it taken away by Domi. Now gets it over. Shot there and that hit the post. Dallas still with the puck. Another try there and it's fought off by Hill. Dallas still with a drive there from the point, goes one, backhand try, and they score! And it's Jason Robertson again, his second of the game. He gets it on a wide open backhand on a rebound, and we are tied at 2.
Man, that just tells you, they're showing the replay again with Eichel.
I'm awake now. In case anyone wants to know, I'm wide awake now.
That's what I mean, man. It's about finishing these chances, and Eichel wasn't able to do that.
Well, that starts... That whole goal, Kyle, doesn't happen if Aiden Hill doesn't play the puck into the right corner to where Domi just easily intercept. I don't know what Aiden Hill was doing there. And then it's just a barrage of opportunities and just a nice backhand shot. Puck comes off the boards and Jason Robertson doesn't miss. The Filipino phenom with his second goal of the night. First career multi-goal game of his career in the postseason. That's now another turnover shot there from Hintz, stopped and covered by Hill. That's the second time he's done that.
You're right though. Just back real quick with Aiden Hill. He came weirdly out of his crease and then just shot it right at the corner, which was really weird. Why he was getting it out? That
looked like a panic type of play. Instead of just trying to clear it maybe out, he cleared it to the corner where there was no one other than Max Domi.
Even if it was icing, at least it's out of the zone for the time, for at least until they drop the puck, but then you can regroup. I don't know.
Look, it's amazing how sometimes it may not be you may not notice it right away, but even the smallest mistake could result in a goal 30 seconds later. And you think 30 seconds ago, if he doesn't do that, it doesn't happen. That's the way you look at it. What was I say? Drake Foss says, what do you think happens with Carolina after their sweep? I got to be honest with you. They have a lot of guys they have to try to re-sign with not a lot of cap space.
Speaking of
cap. Kyle's a big fan of cap friendly. He's gonna bring us some stats. Jason Robertson, most goals in a season, including playoffs. He is tied with Dave Gagne with 52. He's tied for the fourth most, in playoff history in terms of your first play. I don't know what that stat was. That was a stat and a half.
Do you ever use cap friendly? Ever go on it?
I use cap friendly a bunch. Yeah.
Okay. Good. So
I use cap friendly for ridiculous trades just for fun.
So. Just to give people an idea of the injuries that they had, There's only a minute left here in the second period.
So minute 40 to go here in the second period. Just Jason Robertson, just about a minute ago, tied it up, his second of the game, as we are tied right now at 2.
Why don't we answer this in intermission? Because there's a lot of things going on here. So let's answer this intermission.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. Is Dallas now with the puck off the boards, gets it over. Here comes Robertson. He stops, turns around, waits, throws it in front, and that one is covered and held by Hill. Jason Robertson, by the way, Kyle, 9 shots on goal in this game now for him.
That's
him
wild.
Alone.
Okay, so just real quick.
Do we have some breaking news?
Well, no. But just of the forwards here, right? And it would be great if I did.
I was going to say, like, you reacted like there was some breaking news. Like, oh?
Do you want golf news? I got that. But
I get golf. Okay.
For all the forwards, there is one player who has more. Sorry, there's 2 players that have more than 1 year left. They either have
Carolina, right?
9 of the 11 forwards have 1 year left on their deal, or 0, as in their free agent this summer.
I think Svechnikov is one of them, right?
So Kotkaniemi has 7 years left on his deal.
Oh, I forgot. They gave him that. Right? Oh, my God.
Right. Svechnikov.
Jesus.
Yeah. So Svechnikov also has 6. Okay.
My God.
And then, so I missed that because I was under injury reserve. And then some rookie named Ponomarov has 2 on an entry-level deal. Everybody else has 1 year, or they're a free agent. So we'll get into that in the intermission. We'll have to look at that. 20
seconds to go here in the period. Marchessault comes up the left side. Marchessault has the most recent goal for Vegas. That made it 2-1 earlier. As we got 12 seconds to go. Puck comes back into the Vegas zone. Vegas maybe one last chance here if they hurry. Quickly move up the boards. They'll dump it into the Dallas zone. 3 seconds, 2-1, and that will do it for the second period of play. So both teams add another goal in this second period. Again, Marchessault with the goal for Vegas, but Jason Robertson having himself a hell of a game. He now has 2 goals, and he has tied it up. So we are all even after 40. So, Kyle, we got ourselves a pretty good game here in Game 4. Got to give the Stars a little bit of credit here fighting, especially facing elimination.
How does it feel that we're watching a 2-2 tie game going to a third period for the first time on this stream in how long now?
I mean, here's the thing. When we did Game 5, Devils Hurricanes, that was a close game.
That was a close game.
We went to overtime.
But not much else other than that.
Not much else, no. But yeah, different. It's new territory here. But yeah, so we'll see what both teams have in store for us coming up in this third period. But before we continue on, we got a lot of really interesting things to talk about. We got to talk about the Hurricanes a little bit, and I want to talk about the Leafs because I just want to talk about it. There's just so much, and it's so great. It's so entertaining to me. But before we continue on here, we'll step aside for another quick moment to get another word from our sponsors. And welcome everybody here to our second intermission report of our game number 4 of the Western Conference Finals. And after 40 minutes of play, we are still tied, this time at 2 goals apiece. Jonathan Marchessault and Jason Robertson getting his second were the 2 goals in period 2. So now we go into this third, Kyle, and we'll see if the Stars got maybe one last push in them as they look to try to force the series back to Vegas. And we'll also see if Vegas can come out here in this final 20 and find a way to complete this sweep. But what do you think so far of this game?
I think, the momentum's going to be a little bit in Dallas's favor going into the third period. I think Eichel's getting a little pissed off that he can't generate anything on the power play, 5-on-5, like having a breakaway, having the 2-on-1. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, going into the third here, what else Vegas is going to be able to generate. And, Eichel's going to try to obviously find an answer too. As he's been trying to pot it, for how long now throughout the entire game, right?
Right.
I think what it might come down to is who's going to make this first mistake in the third period, right? Who's going to make a costly penalty? Who's going to make the stupid turnover? Who's going to do it? Because we saw the stupid thing that Aiden Hill did that led to the goal. I imagine that who's going to make the stupid play that's going to eventually lead to the goal, right? That's what I think is going to happen really here. And I still like Vegas's position just because I think they're going to come out knowing that they have a little bit more left in them in the sense that Eichel has been struggling, as I mentioned there, and I'm sure there's other guys too who are a little frustrated that they do have a lot of shots on goal and they haven't been able to generate, any sort of, they haven't been able to get rewards from it, right? So, and then if you're Dallas, you're going to get momentum off the fact that your season's on the line, you're back into it, it's 2-2, the next goal is going to be important, and you have the home crowd behind you, right? So they're finally engaged. Nobody's pissed off. Nobody's throwing popcorn at people, and it should make for a good third period.
Yeah, it really should. And so we'll see what, as I said before, we'll see what both teams got for us in this final 20 minutes, maybe more. We shall see. I think it's going to be, I'm really curious to see how both teams come out in the first couple of minutes. Is there more nerves? Is it desperation? Like, what are we going to see? But to kind of change subjects, because there's a lot that we said that we were going to kind of talk about here during this intermission report. The first thing I wanted to talk about really quickly is, because you got it brought up, somebody mentioned before, if I can go back and find the question, stand by here. Okay, I swear I just saw it. But somebody, Drake Foss says, what do you think happens with Carolina now that they have been swept and are out of the playoffs?
Real quick, did you see Brenda Moore's post-game presser? The fact that they didn't.
The dumbest thing I've ever heard. That was about as bad as Giannis Antetokounmpo saying, "No, there's no losing in sports." And I'm like, no. When Brendan said that, I was like, Brendan, that's how a sweep works. You lose 4 in a row without winning one, you get swept. So I don't know what you mean by you didn't get swept. I think what he was trying to say was, well, yes, we got swept and we got beat. It didn't look like we really got swept because we were in a lot of these games. I think that's what he was trying to say.
2 overtimes, they were in every game, right? But okay, let's get back to the question here.
Last night.
So, guys who have 1 year left on their deals that are notable. You have Sebastian Aho, who's 1 year left, who's a UFA. You have Teravainen, who has 1 year left, who's a UFA. You have Natchez, who has 1 year left as an RFA. You got Seth Jarvis 1 year left as an RFA. Guys who are going into the offseason as a free agent. Puljujarvi, Fast, Jordan Staal, Paul Stastny, Derek Stepan. Those are the forwards. So going to defense now. Brady Skygy and Brett Pesce have 1 year left on their deal. You got Coughlin, LaJoy, DeHaan, Goss-Spare, who are all free agents. Burns and Slavin have 2 years left on their deal. And for goaltenders, this is the big one.
Yeah.
Anderson, Ranta, and maybe their fourth goaltender are all free agents.
I think Kochetkov is the only one that still has a term left on his contract. Yeah.
4 years left on his term. So, and then the guys who were on injured reserves. So Svechnikov, you mentioned he had 6 years left on his deal. Jake Gardner, Andre Kasha, and Max Pacioretty all of a sudden are all free agents as well. So
did you mention Teravainen? I don't remember if you did or not.
Yep. Teravainen has 1 year left as a UFA.
Okay, so 2024 he would be a UFA.
But they're in the same position, I imagine, as Toronto, because when July 1st hits, I don't know if all the deals will work the same way, but I imagine that Aho, Teravainen would probably have a no trade clause that kicks in July 1st. So I imagine they're going to be a busy team as well going into that deadline.
Yeah, I could see that. And I think I was going to say, Kyle, that the big question for me is how different is that Hurricanes team going to look by the time opening day comes around in October? Same thing with the Devils, by the way. I just want to mention that.
Right.
Like the Devils have a lot of UFAs and RFAs as well. This team could look a lot different going into next season as well.
I'm going to bring that up. But just to answer, like with the Hurricanes, yeah, like I think I look at Toronto, Carolina as those two teams who might have to go all in. If you got to find a way to extend these guys, right? Because you got like all of your team is basically a free agent or with 1 year left on their deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine they'll find a way to extend some guys, but they're going to be busy this offseason.
Yeah,
so
I think they have to, especially there was a lot of criticism from Carolina fans at the deadline that they really didn't do anything. You know, they struck out on getting Timo Meier. They struck out on some other opportunities, maybe to get somebody. It kind of looked like they just stood pat. And yeah, it looked pretty good after 2 rounds that they're rocking and rolling. They're 4 wins away from going to the Cup final. And then they go out with somewhat of a whimper, not really, but like somewhat of a whimper, getting swept in the conference finals. And it's a question of, okay, you've gotten pretty far in the playoffs. Can you take it that next step? And
they haven't.
There's a lot of questions with that. I don't know.
Yeah, they haven't, right? Because their all-in was getting Max Pacioretty, getting Brent Burns in the season prior. Now what do you do, right? I imagine that young goaltender gets more action because I don't know if you run it back with Freddie Anderson, right? I don't know what that's going to look like with Ranta. To me, it's about extending some of these guys in the offseason, right? Maybe the guys who have 1 year left on their deal, and then configuring your bottom six and making it a little different, knowing that a lot of these guys are going into free agency, right? So it's going to be interesting. But let me bring up your Devils cap friendly. So you have, for your forwards, you got 5 guys who have multi-year deals. Outside of Dawson Mercer, he's got 1 year as an RFA.
Right.
So you got Jack Hughes, who has 7 years. You got Hischier, who's got 4 more. You got Palat, who's got 4 more. That's a fantastic deal, I think, so far. You got Curtis Lazar, who has 2 years. Everybody else is a free agent. So that includes Bastian, Boquist, Bratt, McLeod, Meyer, Sharangovich, Holla, Tatar, and Miles Wood. That is a good chunk of your team. And let me finish up with what I got here. So the injured reserve, you have Jonathan Bernier as an injured reserve. That's funny.
Bernier didn't play at all this season, and he's probably not going to.
Bernier. Yeah, Bernier is a free agent. Your defense. So you got Hamilton, who's on a multi-year deal. Marino, who's on a multi-year deal. Siegenthaler. Thank you. Yes, Brendan Smith, who has 1 year left, and Luke Hughes, who has 2 on his entry-level deal. Kevin Ball, Ryan Graves, and Damon Severson, probably the biggest name on that team, is a free agent. And then you have Vanacek with 2 years, Akira Schmidt with 1 more year, and Blackwood is a free agent. So your thoughts?
Look, first and foremost, we expected all of this. We knew that we were going to have a lot of guys. I would expect there's not going to look, first and foremost, not everybody that you just mentioned is going to be back on this team. There's just no question. Like Blackwood is probably gone. Jonathan Bernier is definitely gone. He's probably going to retire because he just, he hasn't been healthy for so long. Guys like Miles Wood, it's tough, but I think he's probably gone. I don't think Nate Bastian's going anywhere. Boquist can kind of go either way. Because here's the other thing. You have to look at it in 2 ways. One, the Devils still have one of the top 5 farm systems in the NHL. So they have a lot of guys that can come up next season and fill those different roles if that's where the Devils want to go. However, if they don't want to go, there are going to be opportunities in free agency and even trades to where they can get other guys that could fit into those type of roles. Guys like Eric Holla, I think, will be back on this team. Eric Holla even said at his end of the season thing that he already told Tom Fitzgerald, get a deal done as soon as possible because I don't want to go anywhere else. So I think that tells you a lot. Jonas Siegenthaler and Jack Hughes both kind of sent the message to Timo Meyer and Bratt that we're building something special. So just sign the deal. Don't make this hard. Make it reasonable for the team to move forward. I'm fascinated by who's going to be here and who's not. Severson really is, other than Bratt and Timo, is probably the most intriguing guy to keep your eye on, because here's why. There is a very good possibility that Severson could get a lot more money in term on the open market based off of what people have said.
Probably.
Severson has mentioned, he mentioned this way back last season, not this past year, the year before, that he would like to stay here the rest of his career. But the problem is he willing to take a lot less money and maybe even term to stay here? And you got guys like Luke Hughes, Simone Nemeth, who has yet to play in the NHL, Riley Walsh, different guys like that could take his spot for a lot less money, because like Nemeth hasn't even started his entry-level contract yet.
Right.
And that's 3 years. So you have to make those. It's tough because there's no way for the Devils to see it before they have to make that decision. I think what's going to happen with Severson is that he's probably going to walk and go somewhere else.
I would imagine he would too, because what would be the asking price for him? Like $6-7 million?
They said for him it's going to be something like 6 by 6, and I don't want that.
Right, because you have guys like you said who can step up, Luke Hughes, Nemeth, who can step up as well. Plus, you can also go out and get guys for $2 million, $3 million, whatever dollars. 2 or 3 extra guys that can help you depth too, right? That might be able to help you more. So, no, I agree. I would agree that Severson.
Andrew, my friend, he's not going anywhere. Just make that very first of all, what do here's the thing. Remember, Brad is an RFA. Do you know what the Leafs would have to give up to sign him to an offer sheet, to which they don't have the assets to do that anyway? So no, not going to happen. Miles Wood and Blackwood will go to the Red Wings. Okay. Sure. Maybe. Sure. I don't know. Sure.
I mean,
my good friend Chandra said, my good friend Chandra said Woody sounded like he was leaning towards something again, because I think Wood sees the writing on the wall that he very much has underperformed the last 2 years, and it's tough because he brings a physical game, but it hasn't been there of late. So I don't know what to say about that. Severson would go to I don't know why Severson would do that. I don't know why. If Severson wants the money, okay, but even the Coyotes may be like, that's not what we're doing.
Not at all.
Keep Hughes. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Oh, yeah.
I would imagine.
So
now this is a good one. Do you know if they'll keep Graves? It's a really good question, because Graves has been solid the 2 years he's been in New Jersey. Physically, I think in the playoffs he really struggled at times. Definitely dealt with some injuries. But he may be another guy that he may be asking for too much. And when you're looking at how much you're going to give to Bratt, how much you're going to give to Timo, and then how you're going to work the rest of that roster around, it might be tough.
I want people to comment which team I should look up next on Cap Friendly. I'm having the best time right now. This is great.
Well, the one that I really wanted your thoughts. I just want your thoughts. What the literal hell happened in Toronto with Kyle Dubas?
So
that was crazy. Those couple of days last week, that was crazy to me.
Yeah, I'll get into it. They're about to start the third period here, just an FYI. But I'll get into it real quick. So basically, what happened is they were ready to sign the extension. Kyle Dubas was ready to sign an extension with the Leafs. What happened is that Dubas overplayed his hand, because he basically went to Shanahan afterwards after taking a little bit of time. You obviously saw with the media that it took a lot out of his family for the whole season. His kids were getting picked on at school. It was pretty ugly.
Yeah,
it was ugly. So what happened was that he overplayed his hand a little bit, and by going to Brendan Shanahan saying, I want a little bit more power with this team, right? Shanahan won't fuck around with that, right? Because he knows what he wants. He's won cups before. He knows what he needs to do in order to build his team, and he doesn't want to give up that power, right? Because he's already in a position of higher power. So Shanahan's sitting there going, no, too bad, Like they were going to offer him 4 years, $5 million.
Right.
4 or 5, right? And Dubas said, like, no. So now what's starting to come out is that there was a conflicting relationship between Kyle Dubas' agent and Kyle Dubas. So that's like the gist of it. I'm sure there's details I might be missing out, but yeah, like I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a shit show between now and July 1st in Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like kind of crazy to go from where it just sounded like, Dubas is going to be back, everything's kind of keep status quo, and then, right. Dubas is gone. Brendan Shanahan kind of explained. I give Shanahan a lot of credit. He explained it in very good detail when it was announced that he wasn't going to be coming back. Like, he was very honest about it. He spoke about what went down. He didn't try to sugarcoat it. And really, I mean, the next big question is who's going to be the next GM? And it sounds like, Kyle, that it's basically Brad Treliving's job to lose at this point.
Right. And it's a good signing. I think he's going to be he's a guy that's not.
And this is true also, Kyle. The dominoes fell after. Like, Jason Spezza left right after, apparently, as well.
Right, because he's Dubas' guy. So wherever Dubas will go, I don't know if Spezza will just be done with it. We'll kind of see how that goes. Yeah. Here's the interesting thing. Look what Treliving did last year, right? Look at the trade that happened last year. You don't think he's going to fucking go in and be like, no, I'm going to run the show, and if it means that, because they were talking about that, the core 4 we're unlikely to be moved is what the quote was. All of a sudden, if you bring Treliving into this, he's not afraid to make these big moves. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden Marner gets whatever, something big happens, right? Just saying,
I think
you won't fuck around.
I mean, Kyle, my question to you is this: out of the core 4 guys on that team, you talk about Matthews, Marner, William Nylander, and John Tavares.
Yep.
Who do you think is the most likely to go? To me, it just seems like, again, we're going back to William Nylander.
Who's most likely to go? I think it'll be tough to get rid of Nylander.
Really?
Because I think because he had the best playoffs out of all 4 of them.
I know, but it just sounds like they've been like frustrated with him for a while. Is that shot there from Vegas has stopped being covered by Ottinger?
They have been, but he had the best playoffs, and the fact that they're only paying him $6 million, you want to keep him on for at least one more year. And if they have to trade him at the deadline, then they will, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to know who has to go for that
team?
Marner. Matthews.
Interesting.
Matthews has to go. Matthews has to go. He does. He's done.
And if you're going to do it, you do it this offseason. I'm being serious. Like, you do it now.
It won't happen. In my eyes, it won't happen. Mm-hmm. But Matthews has to go. He's done. To me, what has he done? Right? The stupid thing is that I don't put obviously you have to put blame on all these core 4 guys to perform.
Right.
But the guy that you're paying $11 million to score in big moments like what McDavid has done or whatever, all these guys who are getting paid this big money,
right?
It's not happening. He's not. Oh, here, you might want to watch this.
His puck is right now in the Dallas zone. Both teams kind of fighting with it now. Dallas trying to get it out, and they just are able to get it out, and that's taken away by Domi. Here comes Dallas into the zone. Domi feeds it over. Shot! And that one is fought off and saved by Hill. Big time save from Hill there. Dallas still with the puck. Drops it over to Domi. He waits. Gets it over to Sutter. Sutter holds. Fires it. And that one is, I think it might have been fought off by Aiden Hill. Now the Stars still with it again. Heiskanen tries to feed it over. Gets it to the Adria. Now that puck's in the right corner. And now Vegas will settle.
Is it funny, like, how I kind of think, like, oh, you got to watch this, and now you don't know if you're going to score or they're going to score or not.
No, every time you've been saying it, I'm like, oh, maybe a goal's coming. And then it's like 10 seconds and I'm like, okay, nothing seems like it's going to happen. So like, I think it was just like maybe a good save as now Roy comes up the zone, drops it over to William Karlsson. Karlsson gets crunched behind the boards by Sagan. Now the puck's in the right corner. It's taken away by Dallas. Here come the Stars the other way. Sagan now over to the right side, stops, hits, falls down. That one's taken away. Might be a 2-on-1. It might be a 3-on-1. Here comes Roy. Shot! And that one is fought off by Ottinger and pops up out of play. He definitely got a piece of the glove on that one. Big time save from Ottinger.
I thought they were going to score on that 3-on-1 there.
Oh, yeah, I thought Roy was going to snipe it like top shelf there. That's great saving. I'm going to be honest with you, Kyle. Got to give Jake Ottinger a lot of credit. He has bounced back a lot in this game after the bad performance in Game 3.
Right. And he's been good, right? He's a guy, like, he's not a fraud or anything. Look what the fuck he did last year against Calgary. The guy's a good goalie. He's not a bad goalie. It's sometimes that I've seen a lot throughout this series. It's the guys in front of him that have to help. And also, if you notice too, 35-26 are the shots for Dallas. It does not seem like it.
You know what it is? Again, it's one of those things, Kyle, where it's not necessarily about the quantity of the shots. It's about the quality of them. And I think I think the quality has been pretty even between these two teams. It's just the quantity looks a little bit more like Dallas is kind of doing what you were saying before about just trying to throw everything and anything at the net on Adin Hill, as now Dallas almost gets a chance there. As again, Hill turns it over after trying to make a play. But luckily, it's taken away by Mark Stone. He slows up, now gets it over to Theodore, who stops. Theodore feeds it over, and that one's deflected away from Carrier. So now some good battling here. Kyle, by the way, I think we might be going to Game 6 between the Heat and the Celtics. Because it's 90-72 Boston after 3.
Wow. That could go to 7 very quickly.
Make sure that Game 6 in Heat in Miami, that's going to be tense. Very tense.
Oh, frick. A lot of pressure here by Vegas early on here in the third period, though. A lot of pressure going on.
Well, I think that they want to obviously end it now. They don't want this to have to go to another game. It's just taken away by Marchessault. He tries to get it over, and it's a good block there from Dallas. As now they'll try to get it out. DeAndrea trying to get it out, desperately can't. Eichel keeps it in for Vegas. Now Eichel gets it back. Take it away there. Now Barbashev over to Eichel behind the net. Feeds it, and he missed Marchessault. Vegas still with the puck. Marchessault now in the left corner. Gets it over to Haig. Now to Eichel. Haig with a shot from a sharp angle, and it's fought up by Ottinger. Dallas trying to get it out. They desperately need to get it out. And finally, they're going to be able to settle it and get it out of the zone with 13:46 and ticking to go here in this third period. Game still tied at 2.
It's crazy. Is this period gone by quick?
Oh, this period's flying right now. Yes. It feels like only a minute ago that this period started. Yeah. So, like, I don't know what's going on here. As now Heiskanen.
Go ahead.
What were you saying?
No, go ahead. It's all good.
Heiskanen now into the zone. Dallas trying to put on some pressure here. Now it's into the left corner. Zach Whitecloud chips it all the way over to Shea Theodore. Now to Roy. Roy flips it. Now gets over to Karlsson on the left side. Shot. That one is blocked into the right corner. Vegas keeping it in, though, for a moment. Heiskanen wraps it around the boards. Domi gets to it first for Dallas, and he'll flip it out of the zone. It'll go back into the Vegas zone here, and they'll look to come right back in the other way. As now Pietrangelo will dump it around the boards. Gets it over to Sutter, who now take it for Dallas off the boards and out. Puck now is at center ice, and now Dallas dumps it in. Adin Hill behind the net now wraps it around to Martinez. Can Vegas get it out? They will. Now Johnson intercepts it for a moment, and that puck now bounces over, and then we get, I believe, an offsides here with 12:38 to go in this third period. Still 2-2 here between Dallas and the Golden Knights.
Ooh, good job, Neil. 10 out of 10. Love the comment.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a while.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, good pressure overall by Vegas. I haven't really asked you how you thought this, like, overall the game so far. Like, what do you need to see differently now going in the last 10 minutes here? Like, obviously Vegas has a lot of pressure now, and, you know, Dallas is 35 shots. You're mentioning about the quality of the shots earlier. What do you need to see change from Dallas, and like what do you need to see the adjustments that they need to make to apply the pressure back?
I think really it has to be, when you're looking at it from Dallas's perspective, I think you got to look at it like this. Like you said, throw everything at Adin Hill, because right now you're going to need those grimy goals. Like if you look at both goals that Jason Robertson scored, they were one, he whacked it out of midair, and that's how it got past Hill. And then the other one hits off the boards, the backboards, it comes out the other way, and Robertson's in the right place at the right time and scores. That's how you're going to have to score against Adin Hill. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be a breakaway chance in your scoring, although you'll take it, but you have to be at your most aggressive. You have to just be as desperate as possible, because you know that obviously there's potentially no tomorrow. You have to give it all you have right now, especially knowing that if you're going to end up getting sweep, you want to at least go down with a fight. You don't want to go out and give up 2 or 3 goals in the third, get blown out, make it look like it was never a contest, this, that, and the other thing. But you really just got to apply that pressure. And if you're Vegas, you got to find a way to start generating more consistent opportunities.
And they've been doing a good job of that so far, right? They applied a lot of pressure
in this period. I think throughout the game they've struggled a little bit with it, but I think in this third period so far they have. Oh, they're showing Ric Flair now. Jesus. Oh, my God.
What a legend.
Oh, my God. He's a man possessed. It's kind of scary. By the way, I don't know why Ric Flair has never been to a Devils game, because they use the woo. They use his woo, after the Devils score. I don't get that. Like, how has he never been to a Devils game? I don't get that. It's crazy.
Don't know. Oh, man, I love Ric Flair.
Half the teams in the NHL use the Ric Flair woo, so he probably makes mad money off that.
Oh, he makes so much money off that, Christ.
It's crazy. Max Domi has an assist and 3 shots in about 13 minutes of ice time tonight, as now the Dallas Stars back into the offensive zone here. Puck's in the right corner. Now here comes Chandler Stevenson up the left side. Stevenson now waits, gets over Stone. Stone in the left corner now, being hounded. Now Chandler Stevenson gets over Pietrangelo, waits, wrist shot gets blocked. I can't try there and stop. Follow-up try is also stopped by Ottinger. Vegas still with the puck. Pietrangelo gets it over. Drive from Stone. It's saved by Ottinger with his right leg pad. Vegas still with it. That pass is intercepted by Domi, and he'll flip it out of the zone. And this one is going to be knocked down with a high stick. With
That's what I was wondering. Like, I look confused because there was somebody with the hands up, and I'm like, what happened? What I miss?
Well, that's the thing. The thing that's tough about hockey sometimes is that the ref puts up his arm like this for about 5 different reasons.
It's a penalty.
And you think you're immediately go, oh, it's a penalty. No, it's high stick. Or, oh, no, it's delayed offsides. It's like, oh, that's nice. Can we have different arm angles? Can this be delayed offsides or something just so that it looks, I don't know. Scoring chances, Kyle, are 20-13 in favor of Dallas. As now Heiskanen keeps it in, but now it's taken away by Jack Eichel. Eichel up the left side, weaves his way around a defender. Backhand try, and that one is saved by Ottinger. Puck's behind the net, but Robertson will get it and flip it out of the zone. But a good chance there from Jack Eichel. I got to be honest with you, Kyle. I think Eichel's going to score at some point in this game.
Keep watching Eichel.
As now this puck comes over. Here comes Jack Eichel again. Eichel toe drags around a defenseman. Now with the puck, backhand try, and that one is gloved and covered by Jake Ottinger. Holy smokes. What a toe drag there from Eichel. That would have been a phenomenal highlight reel goal if he had finished it.
He's been so good, man. He just hasn't been able to bury it.
Especially in his third period. He's come to freaking life in the third period.
Sorry, Buffalo fans.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, you can understand. You got, Matthew Tkachuk is in flow. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, no,
look, here's the thing. I will say this about Buffalo, though. They got a really, really interesting future ahead of them with a lot of really good talent. So,
Eichel
I think they're going to be okay.
Eichel was so close to being a Flame.
He was. I forgot. It was reported that a deal was done with Calgary and then it wasn't, right?
There was never a deal in place.
Oh yeah, right. They said that was there. I think Elliot Freeman was there's no truth to that.
Yeah, there's no they were in on it. They were in on it the whole time, but I think it played a lot into it. Eichel, I think again, it was one of those things where an American hockey player didn't want to be in a Canadian market.
I mean, I guess I can understand that. Is that shot there from the point goes wide of the net? But I mean,
you don't think he would have had a little bit of say though, like a little bit?
Little bit.
Yeah.
They get a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, I want to play in Vegas and not Calgary. Come on.
Yeah. And I mean, look, I'll give the biggest thing I'll give Vegas credit for is this. They did not hesitate to say to Eichel, get the surgery and we'll wait. We're not in a rush. We're not rushing you into playing with us because you're going to be here long term.
Right.
So just get it. And Eichel's sweet. So there you go. And guess what? Eichel's in prime form.
Yeah. So. Buffalo couldn't wait. You couldn't let him do that. Come on, really? They could have been
would it have made a difference? Would it have kept him in Buffalo? I don't know.
I think he would have finished out his contract. Or whatever with the whole 1 year RFA thing, whatever. Yeah. Then maybe he would have got traded then, but I would imagine he would have stayed a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's possible, but obviously can't do anything about it now. By the way, someone mentioned to me today they were like, so the Boston Bruins are probably going to move a bunch of guys because of contracts and all that. And somebody was like, oh yeah, Taylor Hall is probably going to get moved. Should the Devils go and pursue him? And I'm like, let's not do this right now. Taylor Hall is not the player he was 5 years ago.
Not at all.
He's okay. He wouldn't even be good enough to be on the Devils' top 6.
You think?
No. Considering what we have, no. I just think about it. Who would you take off on the would you stick Bratt? Especially if you're paying him for 8 years, are you going to do that?
No.
You going to stick him on the third? No. Timo Meier, 8 years. You going to stick him on the third line? Maybe. For some reason, it worked out better for him when he didn't play on the top 6.
Well, it did because he's going up because then they're going to match him up against other guys on the third line and shit.
Yeah. You know what I think was one thing that I wish could have been different for the Devils if Andre Palat hadn't gotten hurt early in the season.
Right.
Because I feel like he would have been a little bit more that shot might have gotten blocked there. That puck came right out to Dellandrea, but he didn't get it on net. But now the Star's still with it now. Domi gets it behind the net, tries to feed it in front that Dellandrea gets broken up. Domi now gets to top of the point, wraps it around the boards, goes over to the left side. Heiskanen gets there first, gets it over now. Top of the point, Dellandrea, now to Domi. Domi, shot, and that one is fought off by Hill, and the Golden Knights are able to chip it out.
Jeez. This has been an electrifying third period.
We've only had one stoppage in play, and there's 7:40 to go in the third.
Yeah.
We are flying by in this third period.
And maybe overtime.
Is now. Vegas almost had a 2-on-1 there. As now here comes Dallas the other way. Tyler Seguin loses the puck, taken away by Vegas. Here they come, and just out of the reach of Riley Smith. And that'll be an icing here against Vegas with 7:21 to go in this third.
You know what they were showing is Robertson is really a good two-way forward because he screws up at the blue line. He goes all the way back to defend. He knocks him off, and boom, it just ends the play right there. So I think Robertson's really one of those guys who can play very well on both ends of the ice. It's just showing a lot throughout the series.
Oh, no question. Vegas looks like they could win it if it goes to OT. Well, they've had a lot of success in overtime, so why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't they think they could win it in overtime?
Agreed.
I remember being here while the Panthers were struggling to get wildcard positions, and everyone said it wasn't possible. Now here they are at the Stanley Cup Finals. I mean, that is the beautiful thing about the game of hockey is that in sports, but hockey in particular is that you never know when something unpredictable like that is going to happen. Look, 2019 Blues dead last on January 1st. 7 months later, they win the cup.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. 2012 Kings. We talked about it. 2012 Kings. They just got into the playoffs as the 8th seed, won their first 10 games on the road, and ended up winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, because did they play the Devils in that final, or was the Rangers?
Yes, they played the Devils. 2014, They played the Rangers.
But on the flip side of it, the Devils were a 6th seed.
Devils were a 6th seed in 2012.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, though, they had a little bit more expectation because if you look at the team that they had with Parise and Kovalchuk and Elias, and like they were a good team. That was just one of those years, if you remember, where the Eastern Conference was really stacked.
Yeah, but they got through it.
Oh yeah. They beat Florida in the first round. They beat Florida in the first round. They beat the Flyers easily in 5 in round 2, and then they had that dramatic 6-game series against the Rangers in the conference finals. As now here we go. Marchessault tries to get around, but a good break up there as Suter gets to it first. The puck comes off. Now gets it over to Theodore. Long feed to Marchessault. He waits. Gets it over to Eichel. Eichel walks the line. Now he gets it over to the right side. Still with the puck. Fighting off Suter. Feeds it over to Marchessault with a shot. Hits the side of the net. Marchessault now to Eichel. Gets it top of the point. Over there to his defenseman. Shea Theodore. Over to the left side. Wrist shot from a corner, and that one is blocked. Now it feeds it over to Barbashev. Barbashev has the puck taken away. Heiskanen gets to it, and he'll get it out of the zone.
Oof. It's crazy that I'm surprised the Stars have. I don't even think they've gotten a shot here in the third period.
That puck is saved by Pottinger there. It feels like Vegas over the last 7-8 minutes has really, really taken it to Dallas. Puck is in the left corner now in the Dallas zone. In the Vegas zone. Delantry and Pietrangelo fighting with it. Puck in the left side now. Vegas trying to get it out. Here they come up the side. Riley Smith with speed. Gets it over now to Roy. Roy finally controls it. Gets it over. Feeds it over to Smith. And he deflects it up and out of play. Woo!
Ric Flair is getting way too close to the camera. They just cut him off into his own room or whatever, being like, let's go Stars. Wow.
Yeah, he's losing his mind. 4:37 to go in this third period. That's only the second stoppage of play we've had in this entire third period.
We either get a Game 5 or we get our Stanley Cup final matchup.
I mean, we're going to be satisfied either way.
Yeah, because we get what? We get another game?
We get another game. I mean, We'll get the Cup final. I don't know if, we're going to have I don't know who's going to do the Cup final. I will obviously volunteer myself if nobody else can do it.
We got people doing it. Yeah, we'll do it. Right, we were kind of a lot of people were busy the last couple days, so obviously we weren't able to kind of get the traction. But yeah, we'll be good for all the Cup final games.
I wonder how the boys at Stars Remarks are doing right now. I wonder how they're doing.
I don't know. I mean, they were pretty upset after Game 3. They I don't even think they did an episode that night.
No, they didn't. They were pissed.
Okay. What were your thoughts about the fans in Game 3?
Well, the Devils did the same thing against the Leafs back in November. So
you mentioned that. Yes, that's right.
Yes. I don't condone it. Right. I don't think it's right to do that because it could be dangerous. It makes you look bad, and it adds insult to injury with everything else that went on in that game, in everything. So yeah, I'm not really a fan of throwing stuff on the ice or whatever. I'm just not a fan of it.
It's that's the thing. It's so dangerous, man.
It is very dangerous.
Because it's these are people too, man. Okay, you don't like them because they play for a different team, but they're people. That's the stupid thing is that people they don't understand that it's sometimes the wrong thing can get thrown at the wrong time and something really bad can happen. Right.
It's bad. Even I remember when Wes McCauley's family got threatened.
Yeah.
It's bro, what the hell is wrong with people?
People need to realize at the end of the day, it's just a hockey game, man. It's just hockey.
It's just a sport. It's not life or death here. I mean, that's where you take things into perspective. I'm the first one to say, it sucked as now Haig with the puck takes a shot, that one gets blocked. I'll be the first one to say it sucked for a couple of days after the Devils got knocked out against Carolina. And believe me, I got the brunt of a lot of crap from Hurricanes fans after they were saying that I was totally nuts thinking the Devils would come back from down 3-1. But after a couple of days, it was okay, my life goes on. Life goes on. Yeah. It's not the end of the and I love talking to people who are not sports fans because I always say to them, you know what? They'll be back next season. It's only a couple of months, and they'll play again.
They're not going anywhere, man. That's the whole thing.
The last season you'll ever see them ever play. It's there'll always be a team. So there you go.
Right. Exactly. I mean, that's just it. Like, it's the
Well, look at
stupid
it.
thing where there's always tomorrow, right? Like after for me personally, when Calgary lost to Edmonton, like I was fine the next day.
Yeah,
Like it
I was
sucks
fine
that
the next.
night.
I was honestly fine the next day after the Devils lost. I was like, I woke up and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm not
All right.
heartbroken here.
No.
Like, because also I think for me it was just, you didn't expect the team to go that far. So for them, any further
Right.
they would have gone is just continuing to be like
Right.
gravy for them. But like, that's what I would say to fans in general. Just like, it's not that deep.
No.
It's just
It's not.
sports,
It's
guys.
not.
It's not
It's
that
not.
deep.
I can
It's
also
supposed to
say
be
that like
fun. We are here
right.
to have fun. That's what
That's
it's
the
all about.
point. Yeah, I can also die knowing that one of my favorite teams has won a major championship with Seattle and the Seahawks. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good, man. I'm happy. I'm happy.
I mean, look, as a New York Giants fan, like I've seen my team win
Oh,
two
fuck.
Super Bowls before I
Yeah,
turned 30. I'm good. Like, obviously, I still want them to win every year. But I get that. But like, I'm also not sitting here like suffering like crazy.
right.
So
Yeah,
it's
I
so
mean
it's all good.
there are teams out there that like Vancouver's like Dylan like who doesn't have a cup at all to even remember it.
But at
Remember
least they've
by
been to the finals a couple of times.
true, but
Look at
still.
Arizona. Arizona, the closest they've ever gotten was losing in 5 games to
LA,
the
LA.
Kings in 2012 conference finals. Like that's the closest they've ever gotten to even playing in a final.
Right. Yeah. I am not like. Could you imagine if the Coyotes made the final that year?
That would have been a very bad series for Gary Bettman because he would look at it
That would
like
have been.
New Jersey and Arizona. He would just be like, "This is not what I want.
Do you
This
think
is
this
not
is
what."
what he wants though? If Vegas gets the job done here with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left?
I mean, I think he'll be satisfied
Okay,
because, like,
fair
at least
enough.
he gets one big market. With Vegas, big market.
Fair. Okay.
But like,
To no, I was just gonna say if you want to like, I'm gonna watch here the last 2 minutes because it's
yeah,
getting
no
pretty tight.
worries. So we got 2:35 to go here in the third. Puck comes out just out of the Vegas zone, and Haig will just dump it back in. As now Dallas will set it up behind their own zone with 2:25 to go. Shots 37-35 in favor of Dallas, so pretty even. Here comes Pavelski. Joe Pavelski fires it just wide of Aiden Hill in the Vegas zone here. Dallas looking to try to create something. And now the puck is taken away by Vegas. They look to come the other way. Mark Stone lightly dumps it into the right side to Howden. Howden now into the right corner. Puck comes over to the left side. Here come the Stars coming the other way. Potentially they have a step. 42 with a backhand try. And that one is fought off and saved by Aiden Hill. What a beautiful save there on the backhand. Whoa.
Glendening. That was Glendening.
Thank you. Glenn Denning with a great, Glenn Denning has actually had a pretty good game as well. That line of Glenn Denning, I believe he's also playing with Domi as well.
Yes.
They've really been on the ice a bunch when things have have gotten interesting in the offensive zone.
Yeah, like he came from Detroit and he's fit in very well with this team.
Mm-hmm. No question. Minute 23 and ticking to go in this third. Do we have some late period drama like we did last night from either one of these teams? Eichel takes it, throws it in the right corner, feeds it in front to Barbashev. Puck is loose, and the Stars get to it, and they'll get it out of the zone. As now DeAndrea will just dump it in. That one's gloved down by Hill. He'll play it with 1 minute to go here in this third. Let's see what both teams got. Eichel comes up the right side. Eichel now waits. He's still with it. Feeds it around the boards to the left side. Puck comes over. Vegas tries to keep it in. They do for a moment. Both teams whacking at it. Now it dumps it to the right corner. Zach Whitecloud gets there first, being hounded by Tyler Seguin. As now the Stars get to it in the right side. 37 seconds to go. Punked up down into the Vegas zone. No icing. As now Haig will get back for Vegas. Haig now gets it over to Barbashev, feeds it over. Can Roy get there? He can. Roy fighting along with two Stars players. Roy goes down, feeds it in front there, and a shot from Vegas, and that one gets blocked. Here come the Stars with 15 seconds to go in the period. This puck comes back in, and we get a stoppage of play. Not sure why.
What a
But
save by Aiden Hill, man. Oh my!
Show it again.
Good
Glenn
Lord.
Denning gets an opportunity, gets around a defender, backhand try, and Hill just in really good position. Great left leg pad save there. Just beautiful. Beautiful. Might be the save of the game right there.
Yeah, that's gonna. I mean, Glenn Denning is a guy you
What
don't
a great
normally
diving block also by Jason Robertson on the Riley Smith shot moments ago as well. Just a great hustle play to deny a perfect chance for Smith.
And again, bringing up the fact that Robertson can play both ends very well.
Oh, he's a very, very good two-way player. No question about it. Face off here to the left of Jake Oninger. Jason Robertson, 2 goals, 10 shots, and 2 blocked shots. He has been all over the ice tonight. So here we go. Maybe the last face-off of the third period. We got to stop the play for a second.
They gotta drop the puck. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I don't know. They're taking way too long. Face-off won cleanly by Dow. No, never mind. Never mind. Now they're sending the face-off outside of the zone, I think. Oh, no, never mind. I don't know. They're taking. Oh, wait. I think Stevenson's stick broke, so I think that's why they stopped it.
Got it. 12.9 seconds to go.
Chandler Stevenson, such an underrated player. Just want everyone to know that.
He is an underrated player. He hasn't been talked about nearly enough.
I think he came from. I think he came from Washington. I think he won a cup with the.
Yes,
Capitals.
he won a cup with Washington. Yeah, I think so.
There you go. Face off one off the draw shot there from Stone gets blocked the left corner. 8 seconds to go. Pavelski gets there for Dallas, taken away by Vegas for a second. Dallas tries to keep it, tries to set up the other way. Puck comes out of the zone, and ladies and gentlemen, Game 4 will go to overtime.
Yay!
Yay! Nice. Thanks a lot, Dylan, because you called it.
Motherfucker, I swear to God, if this goes like 4 overtime, I'm making it right now. If this goes past like double overtime, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, I know. That would be funny at one point, like you're just like gone and I'm still here. I'm just like, well, it's third overtime. I'm still sitting here. But Kyle, should we wait until after we go to break to discuss this fear? All right, we'll go to break. So stick around, guys, because we got a lot more coverage to go here as we get ready for the first overtime period. But before we continue on, we'll step aside for another moment to get another word from our sponsors. And welcome, everybody, to our third period intermission report here of our game, Stars and Golden Knights, game number 4. And the reason that we got a third period intermission is because, Kyle, for the second consecutive live watch along you and I have done together, we have to go to overtime to decide this one.
What happened in the last one?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I just don't.
Okay.
Okay. What happened was that the last time the Hurricanes won a game this season. There.
Look at you, shots fired. I like how you're thinking quick on your feet. There you go.
But yeah, we are tied at 2. Both teams scored a goal in each of the first 2 periods. William Karlsson, Jonathan Marchessault with the goals for Vegas.
Yep.
Jason Robertson has both goals for Dallas here in this one. So, Kyle, we're going to get some drama either way. Either the Stars are going to force a Game 5 back in Vegas, or the Golden Knights are going to go to the Cup final in dramatic fashion here in this overtime session. And this is the third different overtime we've had in this series. So despite it being 3-0 Vegas, 3 of the 4 games so far in the series have had to be decided in extra time. So there's a little bit of that type of entertainment for everybody.
So, they're showing all the overtimes now of the playoffs. But, I mean, man, so Kachuk scores the Game 2 overtime winner. Game 2 in Vegas, it was Chandler Stevenson who scores the OT winner. 2 or 3 minutes into that overtime, too. So, something to note quickly there. But, yeah, I'm hoping that it's a nice overtime that we have here. So who
would you be a little bit upset if it ended quickly, let's say a minute in, it just happened like that?
Nope, I would be upset at all. Oh my God. So who are your picks going into this overtime? One for Vegas and one for Dallas.
So for Vegas, I'm going to go with Chandler Stevenson to get the game winner in overtime on a breakaway. I just have a hunch.
Okay.
I'm just going to go with a breakaway. And for the Stars, give me Joe Pavelski on a tip in front on the power play, his signature goal, his signature play. So, give me Stevenson and Pavelski.
And let us know in the comments, too, who you think.
Guys, let us know in the comments as well. I want to check back to our score predictions here. So, God damn it.
What?
Dylan is the closest. Well, he's going to get the score right. So Dylan, I just want, maybe he's still here. I don't know. Dylan, if you're still here, you are going to be right. I just hope, in terms of how many overtimes, I hope you're wrong.
Wait, who'd you pick? Vegas or Dallas? Dallas.
He picked Dallas to win 3-2, but in double overtime.
I'm going to cry.
He wants. Dylan has that power. He has the ability to make things come to reality. I also should mention, by the way, Vegas is 3-0 in overtime in these playoffs. Dallas is 0-4.
Oh.
So, and remember, 2 of those games, the first 2 games of the series, both went to overtime.
Okay. I think I'm going to go, let's see. I'm going to go Robertson off a one-timer.
For the hat trick. Nice.
And for the hat trick. And for Vegas, I think Eichel's going to finish it. I think he's going to knock on the door.
So you're going more big name guys. Okay, cool.
Hey, go big or go home, baby.
And then we're both going to be wrong, and it's going to be like Nick Hague or somebody like that. We're so wrong. Jesper Foss scored the game winner in the last overtime game we did, so which was not to be expected at all.
Right.
I don't know. I've always been a fan of Jesper Foss. That's just random for me to say. I've always liked him. Even when he was at the Rangers, I was a fan of his.
Yeah, I mean, he's Jesper Foss?
Jesper Foss, for Carolina. Yeah, Foss.
Yeah, he's always been another guy who's been very underrated, I find, too, right? But yeah, so I mean, kind of looking ahead a little bit, I was going to ask it earlier.
Sure.
On a scale of 1 to 10, or maybe percentage, or however you want to put it,
sure,
how much of a chance do you give the Florida Panthers to win the Cup?
75% chance.
Ooh. So you think they're going to be the favorites?
I think they will. And I say that because here's why. I think when you look at what they've done in these playoffs and how they've gone about beating the teams that they've beaten, I think they've earned the right to be somewhat favorites in this series. But make no mistake about it. As I said before, this is the best Vegas Golden Knights team they've ever had.
Right.
I think because here's why. It's not a huge amount of superstars like we've seen, like that 2020 team, with Robin Leonard and Marc-Andre Fleury and all that stuff. This is different because who's your starting goaltender? A fifth stringer by Aiden Hill. Okay. Your leading goal scorer is William Karlsson. That's not a disrespect, but William Karlsson.
Underrated.
Max Pacioretty is not on this team anymore, and I'm sure Vegas fans are like, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all of these top talented players have finally all just kind of blended together well. Like Alex Pietrangelo was at one time was one of the top defensemen in the game. He's still a good defenseman. He's not a great defenseman anymore, but he's still a good one. Shea Theodore, I believe this till the day that I die that at some point he's going to be up for a Norris Trophy. I think he's that good as an overall defenseman. Zach Whitecloud's really good. And then you have the one superstar that is leading your team, and that's Jack Eichel. Mark Stone, earlier in his career, was like that high-flying, top-scoring guy. Now he's a grinded-out, workman-like type of player. And I will tell you this. Getting Ivan Barbashev was a really good move by Vegas.
Such a good move, man. He hasn't been talked about enough either. But you also forgot about the guy who's actually been leading this team is Marchessault.
Jonathan
Marchessault.
He's not a superstar either. He's not a superstar.
No, you got it right.
He's very good.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Marchessault, I think he's I would like to argue he's probably a top 15 player in the league.
Wow.
No.
That's a bold statement.
Maybe top 20. Maybe I'll go back a little bit, but
all right, fair enough.
Even look at the playoffs. I'm pulling up his numbers. That's it. I'm pulling up his numbers.
Kyle's got to pull up the numbers, man.
Well, look what he's done in the playoffs.
Okay, Drake, do we think, Kyle, let me ask you this really quickly. Do you think that this run by Florida is a magical run, or do you think this is more legit than just like it's a fluke? Like, is this more than what Montreal did 2 years ago?
It's not a fluke, right? Also, that was a really, really hot take. I got to say, 57 points, 28 goals, 29 assists, though. but
Kyle's hot take of the season: Jonathan Marchessault is a top 20 player in the NHL.
Okay, maybe in the playoffs.
Okay, all right, fine. All right, fine. We can play ball with that one.
Okay, in the playoffs.
That's what I was saying about Matthew Tkachuk, that I think now he's become a top 5 player based on what he's done now in the playoffs.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So I'll have to backtrack on that. But just answering that question there, it's not a fluke. It's not a fluke at all, right? This Florida team, man, is relying on good goaltending. They started Alex Lyon in game 1 against Boston, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So it's Bobrovsky who has been carrying this team, right, with the likes of Tkachuk and Barkov, right? And you're also getting your bottom 6 guys to contribute too, which you need your bottom 6 guys to contribute if you're going to go on a certain run. So, I mean, and that too, like Radko Gudas, man, like this is the best he's ever played in his career. Let's be honest.
Can we also say he has the greatest celebration, just like that picture of him screaming right in the face of Ilya Samsonov after winning Game 5? Oh, was it Samson? It wasn't Samsonov?
Joseph Woll.
Oh, Woll. Sorry, brain. Woll. There you go. But that was still hilarious, though. Like it's the best picture of just him screaming. Like, I wonder what that was like for Woll. Like in that moment, just him screaming at you as you know you just gave up the goal in overtime to lose the series.
Right. I think he's going to be their starting goaltender next season.
I think he should. I think he should. Too. Matt Murray needs to go. He's not that good.
So, do you want me to bring up the Leafs cap friendly because I just have it?
Yeah, go ahead. Why not? By the way, Hefty Duck asked, how many overtimes? I think this is the 23rd overtime of this playoff.
Do you want me to look it up?
Yeah, they showed the stat earlier.
Oh, many.
I missed it.
I love being the stats guy. This is great.
Yeah. Let me get my cup of tea real quick. Let me pull up your stats.
Tea's I think I've had tea like once throughout my whole life. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not a tea guy.
When we were consistently doing the live watch alongs during the Devils playoffs, I was drinking like 2 or 3 cups of tea before every game.
Really?
What kind of honey? Tea? With it was like it was apple cinnamon. It's so good.
I did it actually. I shouldn't say that. I did it recently because I had a really bad sore throat, and they were like, "Dude, just drink honey with tea," and it's like it makes a huge difference. It's amazing how good.
And also, being a broadcaster, that's something that was taught to me early on to like do that. I also got into doing cough drops, even though I don't have a cough. It's like it helps. So,
do you add anything into your tea at all, or you just drink it?
I do. I usually do tea. I do honey, like a teaspoon of honey. It works every time. Also, I do add some lemon too.
Oh, okay.
Huh. Combination. So highly recommended.
Okay. Well, because I tried orange pico the other time, like whenever I was sick recently.
Okay.
Really good. And I just drank it straight up, like black, didn't add anything to it. Nice. So like even when they asked me like what you want to add to it, I was gonna be like, I don't know. Like what do you normally add to like an orange pico
what are your tea lovers? Oh boy.
I don't fucking know.
Well, Kyle, we are about ready to start this overtime. We're about the players are on the ice. I don't know if you still want to bring up the cap friendly.
That's okay. I'm looking up the more important one. How many overtimes in the playoffs so far?
Brett Howden had the game-winning goal in overtime of Game 1 of this series. There's a random player for you. I mean, not a random player for if you're Vegas. And then Chandler Stevenson, who I picked to get the winner tonight, he scored the game winner in overtime of game number 2. So we'll see if he can get another one here. Again, Golden Knights 3-0 in these playoffs in the overtime. Stars are 0-4.
5 players are from the 2018 team that are still on this team today. Shea Theodore, Brady McNabb, Jonathan Marchessault, William Karlsson, and Riley Smith and Jonathan Marchessault. So, or I think I mentioned him already. Whatever, 5 players there as were part of that 2018 team. But to give you context, so far in the first round, so on April 30th, there were already 10 games that went to overtime.
Wow.
So I imagine that number skyrocketed.
It probably did. I'd have to go. We'd have to do a deeper search, but this is going to be good. So next goal wins, ladies and gentlemen. Do the Dallas Stars get the next one and force the Game 5 back into Sin City? Or do the Vegas Golden Knights end this one in dramatic fashion and run their way and skate their way to the Stanley Cup Finals with a date with the Florida Panthers? We're about to find out. As here we go. We are underway in the first overtime period. We'll see if it's going to take more than one overtime. But here we go as this one starts. Dallas flips it out of the zone. As now here comes Johnson right away. Johnson holds, feeds over to Sagan. Sagan feeds it. That one's blocked. Pietrangelo gets to it for Vegas. He'll backhand it off the boards. As now Dallas will go back and regroup. That puck comes over, it bounces around, and now here comes Dallas up the wing. Marchman with a shot that gets blocked. Does anybody ever call him Marchman paper?
Probably.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not the only one that was thinking it when I saw his name.
Fastest OT games in franchise history. The Golden Knights have ended 4 games that have gone to overtime in their franchise in under a minute and 35 seconds. They've done it 4 times.
All right. Well, they still have some time to make it faster because we've only played 47 seconds of this overtime. So this is. Do you think if you're Vegas, like, are you nervous? Do you feel like any sort of nervousness?
No, God, no, no way, no way. I think like for any team that is down 3-0, if you're the team up. The only time I would get nervous is maybe around Game 6.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
If
Icing here against the Golden Knights, face off back in the Vegas zone here.
Did you see Aiden Hill there? Like try to bat it out.
That's why if you guys saw my face a second ago, I reacted because he did like this windmill like save just now.
He whacked White Cloud in the face.
Oh, he got White Cloud. Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah. So face off here to the left of Aiden Hill in the Vegas zone here. Pavelski and Eichel at the draw. And the face off is won by Vegas. And now here comes Zach Whitecloud. Slowly makes his way up. Gets it over. Long feed over to Jack Eichel. Eichel waits. Wrist shot. And that one goes wide and high of Ottinger. Puck now behind the net. Both teams with 2 guys. Eichel wraps it around the boards. Now it gets to Hague. Now to Eichel. Eichel with it now. Gets to the Hague. Drive, and that one is sticked aside by Ottinger. Marchessault gets to the puck. Now it's taken away by Rupe Hintz, and Hintz will just lightly tap it back into the Vegas zone for a moment. Now Dallas gets to it. Pavelski gets it over to Domi. Domi stays on sides. Now Mark Stone goes back for Vegas. Stone backhands it off the boards. Now Vegas will retreat a little bit here. Brett Howden. Howden backhands it off the boards. Gets over Stevenson. He gets knocked down at center ice. Puck comes loose again. Now over to White Cloud. Now gets it over to Hague off the boards. Puck bounces now into the Dallas zone. No icing here, as now Dallas will control. Hakanpää off the boards. Hakanpää gets it again. Gets it off the boards. Tries to feed it to Domi, but it gets taken away. McNabb now over. That puck is shipped, and now here come the Stars. Domi with some space. Domi feeds it over. Backhand try is stopped by Aiden Hill. Oh, big time save there on that shot from Lindell. Lindell had a chance to end it there early, but Hill with the first big save. And I think, Kyle, we have a penalty here.
Yeah. No blood. It's only a 2-minute penalty.
Yeah, Dellandrea looking up. Pete DeBoer giving his classic staring off into the abyss look. And so, he gives this look like where it's like, just stares for no reason. As that, and Pete DeBoer wants 4 minutes. He wants 4 minutes. I don't know if they're going to give it to them.
The stupid thing is Dellandrea is trying to do. If you're literally trying.
Braden McNabb got him good. McNabb got him.
If you're trying to scrape your own fucking beard to try to
they gave him 4. I think they just gave McNabb 4. I think they just put up the sign 4. Wait, I got to see this again. I thought I saw him put this. So I think this is a 4-minute double minor.
Where's the blood?
Wait, I got to see it again. I think they just said no. I don't know what they said.
No, it's a 2-minute penalty.
All right. So now Dallas goes to the power play here. Just 2.5 minutes in to this overtime. So a major opportunity for the Stars to get this one over with and force a game 5. By the way, the Dallas Stars mascot, Kyle, is wearing Ted Lasso gear.
Really?
You get the reference?
No, I've never seen the Ted Lasso.
Oh, okay, never mind. It's not. It's okay.
I should watch it though. Is it good?
I should. No, I haven't watched it in full either. So it's not a. It wasn't meant to be a. It wasn't meant to be.
What's the joke?
Well, there's a sign in the locker room that says "Believe," so I think that's kind of the joke there. Dallas, by the way, 1 for 1 on the power play, thanks to a Jason Robertson goal. They are 2 for 8 in this series. So this is only the 9th power play they've had in this conference finals as Vegas clears it here with 90 seconds to go on the 2-minute high sticking to McNabb. Miro Heiskanen now with the puck. Drops it off over to Rupe Hintz. Hintz now gets it over to Jason Robertson. Robertson has the puck, take it away from him. Now it's scramble opportunity there, and a big time save from Hill. Rupe Hintz gets it over Heiskanen, drives it from Pavelski, and he scores! Joe Pavelski in overtime, and there will be a Game 5 back in Vegas as the Stars live to fight another day.
That was a great goal. That was such a nice
Joe Pavelski with the one-time blast through traffic. And he sends the Stars fans home happy as there will be a Game 5 on Saturday night back in Vegas.
Woo, more hockey.
I was sort of correct. I didn't get the right goal. I predicted that it was going to be Pavelski, so I'll take that.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Good game. Overall, good. It really picked up there in the third.
Oh, it was tremendous. And you look at the play itself, right? They're showing it again on the replay. I think it was, I forgot who got knocked down there or who fell down. But then you get Hintz, who just makes a nice feed, just a nice shot. And look, Hill's going from his left to his right. And obviously he just couldn't get to it because Pavelski went back and shot it far side top shelf. What a great shot. And I think if you're Florida, in a funny way, Kyle, if you're Florida, you're like, sweet. Now Vegas has to play another game.
Yeah. But regardless, there's going to be that they're going to have a break, right? So I think it's a huge deal. Whatever. I mean, there's a Game 5 now, right? There
will be a Game 5 thanks to Joe Pavelski, the man they call Captain America. with the game-winning goal in overtime on the power play.
You picked Joe Pavelski.
I've seen Joe Pavelski for many years score those big-time goals in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And for a guy who is still trying to win that illustrious Stanley Cup that he has not been able to get in his career, that's going to be a big moment for him as he is able to keep the Stars alive. And I'll be honest with you, Kyle, don't let the Stars win Game 5 back in Vegas, because if it goes to 6, it might go 7.
Vegas won't let that happen. But then again, Florida's in the finals, so what do I know?
Then again, Florida's in the finals, and nothing makes sense. But cool. That was a great game. Really enjoyed being on here and being back, hanging out with my good buddy Kyle, hanging out with all of you guys. Thank you so much. Kyle, any parting thoughts before we sign off for the night?
Yeah, no, it was just kind of good to get back to this norm. It was nice, and hopefully we'll do it again before the playoffs are done.
Yeah, no question about it. So, again, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Hockey Podcast Network YouTube channel. New live watch-alongs every day here during the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll have a little bit of a break like tomorrow because, obviously, there will be no game tomorrow. So, a little bit, not as much, but no worries. There will be a lot more. There'll be a lot. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you. We miss you guys, too, and we appreciate you guys hanging with us tonight. But, yeah. New live watch-alongs every day here during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Don't worry. We will be covering also the Stanley Cup finals. You already know we're going to be doing that. And trust me, we got a lot of exciting things brewing here, not just here on the YouTube channel, but throughout the entire Hockey Podcast Network. There is so much excitement.
June's going to be a big month, ladies and gentlemen, just letting you know.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. My birthday is in June, so there you go.
That's why. That's the biggest surprise.
That's the big reveal surprise. But yeah, follow the Hockey Podcast Network on all social media platforms at HockeyPodNet, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that lovely stuff. And go check out all the podcasts here on the network, including the Stars Remarks. I'm sure they will have an episode out later tonight, recapping tonight's game and obviously winning this one and keeping their season alive for at least another game. So that should be a lot of fun.
And there will be a stream Saturday night, yes.
There will be a stream Saturday night. But yeah, as always, guys, thank you so very much for hanging out with us. And as always, we will see you in the next live watch along. Once again, the Dallas Stars keep their season alive as they beat the Golden Knights 3-2 in overtime on a game-winning power play goal from Joe Pavelski. And so there will be a Game 5 back in Vegas on Saturday night. Everyone continue to be the awesome people that you are. And as we always say at the end of every live watch along, make sure to rock on.